Inside a luxurious club, the air buzzed with compliments. Everyone praised Rong Xiao for securing such a fantastic venue. Glasses clinked as toasts were raised to Rong Yijin. He responded modestly, claiming it was all to lift Qin Zhan's spirits. Qin Zhan, however, seemed unmoved by the gesture. He sat alone on a sofa, engrossed in a Sudoku puzzle. Rong Yijin, irritated, approached him. He'd thought bringing Qin Zhan out would cheer him up, but instead, he'd withdrawn into himself. As the chorus of greetings from the crowd swirled around him, Qin Zhan couldn't see how any of this was for his benefit. Rong Yijin hastily explained that Qin Zhan had been taken advantage of by his new tutor the day before and had subsequently abandoned the poor girl in the mountains. He brought Qin Zhan out to improve his mood, even though he was using Qin Zhan's credit card. He then grumbled about how, despite Qin Zhan's notorious reputation as one of the three evils, people still lined up to tutor him, all of them after either his body or his money. Just then, someone arrived, claiming to be there for a tutoring interview with Qin Zhan. Rong Yijin burst out laughing, slapping Qin Zhan on the shoulder. "Setting up tutor interviews here? You really know how to play," he chuckled. Qin Zhan insisted he hadn't arranged any such meeting. Standing before him, Min Jiangxi explained. Qin Zhan had requested a tutoring service through the Xinqing group, but hadn't yet found a suitable candidate. Min Jiangxi, holding a double master's degree in mathematics and physics from Yeda University, had come from Jian. Just an hour earlier, at the Xinqing group, he had unleashed a furious tirade on Min Jiangxi, berating him for losing 8 major clients that month. The surrounding employees whispered amongst themselves, wondering what Min Jiangxi had done to offend the second boss. The clients he assigned him were notoriously difficult, blacklisted by other agencies. The last one, Sun Jiwei, was a notorious lecher. He glanced back at them. Then, addressing everyone, she declared, "Xinqing education is a hub for geniuses, the industry leader, the only choice for high-end clients. If you want to stay here, you have to prove your worth." She then pointedly added, "Think about our colleagues. Some can even land Qin Zhan, one of the three evils. Yet, some can't even handle 8 simple clients." Someone behind her then reminded her that the tutor sent to the Qin residence yesterday had been abandoned in the mountains. He froze. A second later, Min Jiangxi abruptly stood up. He declared he would personally secure Qin Zhan as a client. That would prove his worth, wouldn't it? If he failed, he would leave. Min Jiangxi tracked Qin Zhan's location through social media and immediately hailed a taxi. Not to the Qin family home in Shuncheng, but to Qin Zhan's personal Shuncheng residence. Qin Zhan, the current head of the Qin family, one of the three evils, also known as black impermanence. As Min Jiangxi read the information, his expression hardened. He leaned back against the seat, despair creeping in. But even if it was hell, he had to walk through it. Steeling himself, he entered the private room. Quickly identifying Qin Zhan, he approached and introduced himself. Rong Yijin, after hearing the introduction, turned to Qin Zhan with a smirk. "Is it fashionable now for tutors to throw themselves at clients?" he asked. "You intellectual elites sure know how to play." He then looked at Min Jiangxi, complimenting his appearance. Min Jiangxi politely responded. He stated that he considered his intellect and character to be his greatest assets, rather than his looks. Qin Zhan inquired about his teaching experience. Min Jiangxi smiled. "None," he admitted, "but I hope Mr. Qin will give me a chance." Qin Zhan gestured for him to sit and asked about his rates. Min Jiangxi replied that the trial lesson before signing a contract was free. After signing, each lesson would be 8,000. Qin Zhan scoffed. "That's all you want." He offered Min Jiangxi a drink, which he politely declined, explaining he was allergic to alcohol. Qin Zhan then suggested that Xinqing's salary didn't befit Min Jiangxi's talents. If he was interested in other forms of cooperation, Qin Zhan could offer him an opportunity. He leaned in close. Min Jiangxi calmly asked if Qin Zhan was trying to recruit him to teach at his prestigious international school. Qin Zhan sat back. "Your performance is far better than the previous tutors," he remarked. Rong Yijin chimed in, full of holes. "No real teacher would barge in here for an interview. They're all just gambling, hoping for a chance to get ahead." Qin Zhan then pulled out a black card. He told Min Jiangxi that if he drank the offered alcohol, the deal was done. Min Jiangxi immediately stood up, stating that his abilities weren't up to the task. He turned to leave. Halfway to the door, he looked back. "The second box in the last row of your Sudoku puzzle is a 4, he said. "It'll go faster if you start there." Then he left. Min Jiangxi had barely stepped into the hallway when he encountered a drunk man. The man lurched forward, sneering. Just the other day you refused to tutor in my house, and today you're here, whoring yourself out in public. Rong Yi-jin, eavesdropping from inside the private room, assumed Min Jiangxi had run into a former client. He turned to Qin Zhan, saying, "See, I told you." The next second, they heard Min Jiangxi's voice from the hallway, demanding respect. Outside, Sun Jiwei continued to harass him. In a flash, Min Jiangxi reached into his bag and pulled out a stun gun, leveling it at Sun Jiwei. If the man made another aggressive move, he was prepared to defend himself. Sun Jiwei reached out to grab him, but Qin Zhan suddenly seized his wrist. He turned to Min Jiangxi and said, "From the second row, third square." Just as fast. After dealing with Sun Jiwei, Qin Zhan turned back to Min Jiangxi, concerned. "Are you hurt?" Min Jiangxi thanked him, concealing the stun gun in his bag. He then bid Qin Zhan farewell and left. Watching him go, Qin Zhan thought, resolute, clever, strong. He might be able to handle that brat at my house. Min Jiangxi had barely reached the exit of the club when Qin Zhan called out to him. Qin Zhan explained that lately, quite a few people had been using tutoring as a way to get close to him, so he had to be cautious. Min Jiangxi understood that he had just been tested. Qin Zhan then said he wanted to arrange time. Min Jiangxi thought, he changes his mind faster than he changes his clothes. He smiled and said, "My apologies. I was too hasty." Qin Zhan warned him that his child wasn't easy to teach. "I hope your teaching skills are better than your looks." Just then, Min Jiangxi's phone rang. He told Qin Zhan he would contact him another day to sign the tutoring contract, then turned to leave. Min Jiangxi answered the call. The person on the other end wanted him to attend a cocktail party. He couldn't help but complain, "You're worth billions. Why not just relax and enjoy being a rich kid? What's the point of this whole self-made man thing?" The voice on the other end joked, "So I can still be a self-made millionaire if my dad goes bankrupt." The voice, revealed to be Cheng Shuang, urged him again. Min Jiangxi agreed. At the cocktail party, Cheng Shuang, still waiting for Min Jiangxi, spotted Dong Wulei, the vice president of Shangyue Group, a leading company in the cultural media industry. He approached and offered his business card. Dong Wulei ignored him. A middle-aged man standing nearby said, "A business card won't do. Maybe try a room key. You might get a different kind of conversation." Embarrassed, Cheng Shuang was rescued by Min Jiangxi, who arrived and took his hand. Qin Zhan, seeing him, looked puzzled. "Do you have a side hustle besides your main job?" Min Jiangxi explained that he was accompanying his friend. The others, seeing Qin Zhan talking to Min Jiangxi, began to speculate about their relationship. Hearing that Cheng Shuang owned a cultural media company, Qin Zhan said, "So you're in the same industry as Mr. Dong." Dong Wulei quickly stood up and invited them both to sit down. After they were seated, Min Jiangxi thanked him. Qin Zhan, however, deliberately spoke in suggestive tones. "If you really want to thank me, you know what I need." Min Jiangxi quickly poured him some tea, saying he would repay him with actions in the future. Hearing the middle-aged man praising Cheng Shuang for being so young and successful, Min Jiangxi quipped, "Mr. Chen, be careful not to hand out your room key instead of your business card." The middle-aged man quickly explained that he was just joking. Min Jiangxi smiled and told him not to take it to heart. Just then, Qin Zhan abruptly stood up to leave. Min Jiangxi waved and said, "See you tomorrow." Qin Zhan raised his hand in response. Complaining about the noise, he told Cheng Shuang he was leaving, then excused himself to use the restroom. Stepping out into the hallway, he saw Qin Zhan smoking. Qin Zhan remarked, "Everyone who comes here is doing pretty well. You're still putting on an act for me. Sounds like your friend runs a shell company." Min Jiangxi explained, "Some people in the industry were being nasty to her, saying awful things. I stepped in as her, well, you know, but Cheng Shuang is incredibly capable." Qin Zhan replied that he wasn't interested in Cheng Shuang's company. "It's the first time I've seen someone try to use me like this. Do I look that easy to take advantage of?" Min Jiangxi quickly apologized. "If you're angry, consider our verbal agreement void. I promise I won't use your name to take advantage of anyone again." He continued, "You can also let me compensate you in my area of expertise. I believe results always speak louder than words." Qin Zhan had given him this chance. If he performed well, he'd be one of their own. Qin Zhan wouldn't just offer him protection, he'd let him run wild. But if he messed up, he'd regret ever relying on Qin Zhan's influence. Min Jiangxi forced a smile, assuring him he'd strive to become one of them. Qin Zhan offered a final warning. Their relationship was purely transactional. He shouldn't overstep. Min Jiangxi responded with a smile of his own, saying he could sell his knowledge, but not his soul. Qin Zhan then arranged to meet him at his company the next morning at 10 o'clock. Just then, a beautiful woman sidled up to Qin Zhan. Min Jiangxi quickly excused himself. Watching him go, the woman asked Qin Zhan if becoming one of his own was so easy these days. She added sarcastically, "So, did he collect any strangers' business cards tonight? He must have gotten at least 20, maybe 30. Qin Zhan replied indifferently, "I told him to." The woman covered her mouth, laughing, following orders to flirt. Qin Zhan's face turned cold. "No one gossips about my people." He told the woman to stay away from him. Cheng Shuang waited for Min Jiangxi in the hotel lobby. He bustled up, eager for gossip. "What's going on with you and Qin Zhan?" Min Jiangxi calmly explained that he was going to tutor Qin Zhan's child. Cheng Shuang was shocked. "He just took advantage of you to get rid of that woman. He definitely won't let you off the hook." Min Jiangxi told him Qin Zhan was a man of principles, and he intended to follow Qin Zhan's rules. Cheng Shuang asked excitedly, "What did you agree to? If he tries to force you into anything, you can't just take it lying down." Min Jiangxi sighed, telling him to watch fewer soap operas. "Real life isn't arrogant CEO falls in love with me. It's arrogant CEO hires me." Cheng Shuang then mentioned that Chu Jingxing hadn't come that night. Seeing Min Jiangxi's disappointed expression, he perked up. He started speculating about whether Min Jiangxi had romantic feelings. Min Jiangxi quickly headed for the exit, telling him there was no gossip to be found here. The word romantic brought unpleasant images to Min Jiangxi's mind. He mused that he was probably better off without romance. Noticing the ear cuff Min Jiangxi was wearing, Cheng Shuang asked why he didn't just get his ears pierced. Min Jiangxi admitted he was afraid of the pain. The next day, at Xinqing Group, Miao Yin remarked snidely that Min Jiangxi hadn't closed a single deal, but still had time to hang around the office. She couldn't figure out if he was there to work or find a boyfriend. Liu Yuqi walked over and retorted that the one thing Min Jiangxi wouldn't lack was boyfriends. Plenty of people were practically lining up. He-Man even appeared and called Min Jiangxi into her office. She reminded him that Ding Ke had asked her to look after him before his business trip, and she had done so, giving him top-tier resources. Yet, he had failed to close 9 deals. Min Jiangxi thought to himself that she had indeed given him top-tier creeps. He then smugly added that she hadn't heard from Mr. Qin, and since he himself had said that Min Jiangxi should leave if he couldn't secure the deal, she told him to submit his resignation. Just then, someone entered and informed He-Man that a client was waiting in the meeting room to sign a contract. She got up to go, but the person added that Min Jiangxi was also needed. In the meeting room, He-Man condescendingly told Min Jiangxi that from now on, he needed to report any contracts signed with clients immediately. Min Jiangxi was puzzled. Company policy states that only officially signed contracts need prior reporting. Do trial contracts need it too? He-Man snapped. Is Qin Zhan comparable to an ordinary client? She then instructed him to pour Qin Zhan some coffee. Qin Zhan interrupted them. "I'm here for a tutor, not a house servant." Embarrassed, He-Man left them to discuss the details. Qin Zhan stood up and led Min Jiangxi out. In the elevator, Qin Zhan pointed out that he had helped Min Jiangxi again. He reminded him to remember this favor and, most importantly, to show his gratitude through action. Min Jiangxi told him that Qin Zhan was his first client in Shuncheng, and he would give it his all. On the drive, Min Jiangxi inquired about Qin Zhan's child. Qin Zhan told him that 12 or 13-year-old boys were at the age where even dogs disliked them. Whether Min Jiangxi could handle the Qin family depended entirely on his ability. Min Jiangxi responded with a smile, saying that mischievousness was a child's nature and their right. Qin Zhan stated that he had hired him to discipline his child, not indulge him. Suddenly, they heard a bang. Qin Zhan slammed on the brakes. A car sped past them. The occupant made a provocative gesture as they passed. This thoroughly enraged Qin Zhan. He hit the gas and gave chase. The black car flew down the road, quickly leaving the red car behind. After Min Jiangxi's car smoothly came to a stop, he let out a long breath. He didn't have much to say. Qin Zhan casually asked a question, and once Min Jiangxi calmed down, he countered by inquiring about Qin Jiating's math skills. Seeing this, Qin Zhan complimented his composure. Min Jiangxi playfully accepted the praise. They arrived at the hillside villa, Qin Zhan's residence. Qin Zhan instructed the housekeeper, Uncle Chang, to take Min Jiangxi upstairs to find Qin Jiating. On the second floor, the interior was dimly lit, and various reptile displays lined the hallway. Taking in the scene, Min Jiangxi could guess something about Qin Jiating's personality. A few steps further, a security camera overhead caught his attention. It seemed Qin Jiating's interview process had already begun. He didn't try to avoid it. Instead, he confidently greeted the camera. Behind the lens, Qin Jiating let out a cold laugh, implying more stimulating trials were to come. As he pushed open the door and stepped 1 foot inside, a sharp bark echoed from the dim room. Min Jiangxi was startled for a moment before a yellow dog lunged towards him. He pulled a pen from his bag and tentatively commanded the dog. Unexpectedly, the dog obeyed. Seeing how well-trained the animal was, he breathed a sigh of relief and turned to look at the person sitting on the sofa. Qin Jiating curtly thanked him for the reception. Seeing the boy's sullen expression, Min Jiangxi suggested they get to know each other. Qin Jiating continued to sulk. Unfazed, Min Jiangxi pressed on with the conversation, even opening the curtains that kept the room dark. The sudden brightness made Qin Jiating squint. Min Jiangxi, under the guise of being helpful, pushed him to continue talking. As expected, Qin Jiating was furious at this and tried to use his status to intimidate him. Min Jiangxi cleverly deflected the conflict, shifting the blame to Qin Jian. At the mention of his father, Qin Jiating's bravado visibly diminished. Seeing his tactic work, Min Jiangxi smoothly changed his approach, speaking to Qin Jiating as an equal and dismissing any previous animosity, suggesting a peaceful coexistence. Just as Qin Jiating's anger began to subside, Min Jiangxi laid out his terms for peace. When he mentioned respecting all of Qin Jiating's hobbies and personal behavior, Qin Jiating retorted with a challenge. Of course, this was all within Min Jiangxi's expectations. While challenging him, Qin Jiating also revealed a feigned weakness, a fear of ghosts. Meanwhile, downstairs, Qin Jian asked the housekeeper about the situation upstairs. Just as he was wondering if Min Jiangxi had been scared off, Min Jiangxi appeared with Qin Jiating to report on their conversation. Sticking to his peaceful approach, Min Jiangxi didn't complain. Qin Jiating, however, pointed out some minor, insignificant grievances. Seeing the two getting along relatively well, Qin Jian finalized the tutoring schedule. Min Jiangxi expressed some concern about the intensity of the lessons. Since neither Qin Jian nor Qin Jiating seemed worried, Min Jiangxi dismissed his concerns. After all, handling Qin Jiating seemed well within his capabilities. The next day, he arrived at Xianxin Group for work as usual, only to find everyone staring at him. Someone suddenly sidled up to him, asking if it was really Qin Jian who had come yesterday. After receiving confirmation, the gossiping crowd surged forward, overwhelming Min Jiangxi with their questions. Miao Yun, from a nearby office, watched with a sour expression, muttering under her breath. Lu Yuqi, passing by, overheard her. Being Min Jiangxi's friend, he naturally retorted. He then walked over to Min Jiangxi, offering congratulations and handing him a juice. Hearing someone engage with her, Miao Yun grew bolder in her remarks. Lu Yuqi responded with a sharper rebuke. Finally, Miao Yun snapped, standing up and berating him for his disrespect. The raised voices attracted He-Man. Seeing their superior, Miao Yun quickly launched into a complaint. Faced with He-Man Yi's criticism, Lu Yuqi remained silent. In the eyes of the others, he did appear to be more in the wrong. Unable to stand by any longer, Min Jiangxi revealed Miao Yun's earlier backhanded comments. Even though Miao Yun denied it, Min Jiangxi sternly warned her in front of everyone. Now on the defensive, Miao Yun couldn't utter a word against his pointed remarks. Sensing the tense atmosphere, He-Man quickly intervened to smooth things over. The near confrontation dissolved just as quickly as it had begun. After everyone dispersed, Lu Yuqi sought out Min Jiangxi, who briefly consoled him before inviting him to a pet store. It was time for Qin Jiating's lesson. Min Jiangxi, carrying a large gift box, arrived at the hillside villa. He'd barely pushed open the door when a long, rubbery snake lunged at him. Though startled, he quickly realized it was a childish prank and dealt with it effortlessly. Holding the rubber snake in one hand and the gift box in the other, he entered the house. Qin Jiating, impressed by his composure, eyed the gift box, still wary it might contain some form of retaliation. But inside, he found two adorable puppies. Qin Jiating, facing the undeniable cuteness, remained skeptical, asking Min Jiangxi if this was a bribe. Min Jiangxi explained it was simply a reciprocal gift. He didn't want to be indebted to anyone and had tried to offer money, which had been refused. As they spoke, the housekeeper announced a visitor. Qin Jiating seized the opportunity, asking Min Jiangxi for a favor. If he complied, Qin Jiating would accept the gift and agree to a peaceful coexistence. Min Jiangxi inquired about the task, and Qin Jiating revealed he wanted Min Jiangxi to get rid of the visitor, a woman named Feng Jingyun, who was pursuing Qin Jian romantically. Min Jiangxi knew his position made this inappropriate and was about to decline when Qin Jiating became unusually insistent. Before he could speak further, Feng Jingyun entered the room. During the ensuing conversation, he learned that Min Jiangxi was the tutor Qin Jian had searched long and hard to find for Qin Jiating. Qin Jiating claimed he couldn't make the final decision, but both he and his father were very pleased with the new tutor, leaving Min Jiangxi feeling like a pawn in their game. Feng Jingyun, ignoring this, changed the subject, mentioning that Qin Jian didn't know she was back in Shenzhen. Qin Jiating jumped in, revealing that Qin Jian had 2 phones and that Min Jiangxi had used the unknown number to contact him. Min Jiangxi, wanting no part in this, opened his mouth to refuse, but Qin Jiating cut him off. Trapped, he reluctantly called Qin Jian. As the call connected, his hopes that Qin Jian's phone might be off were dashed. Resigned to his role as messenger, he relayed Feng Jingyun's arrival and the message for Qin Jian to come home quickly. Not satisfied, Qin Jiating suggested they all have dinner together, pointedly asking Min Jiangxi about his favorite foods. Min Jiangxi just wanted to escape, but Qin Jiating gave him no opportunity. Trapped, he inwardly cursed the boy's manipulative tactics. Feng Jingyun, clearly displeased by this whole charade, decided not to prolong her discomfort and left. Only after her departure did Min Jiangxi dare to complain that he was going to lose his job. Qin Jiating, sensing the misunderstanding, quickly explained he hadn't meant to drive him away. His words even held a hint of protectiveness towards Min Jiangxi. Relieved, Min Jiangxi also glimpsed a more endearing side of the boy. By the time Qin Jian arrived home, lunch was ready. He looked uneasily at the table laden with a feast of Yeqing cuisine. Feng Jingyun asked Qin Jian if he'd changed his culinary preferences. Qin Jian replied that the meal was specially prepared for Min Jiangxi. Seeing even Qin Jian using him as a shield, Min Jiangxi forced a smile and played along. Feng Jingyun complimented Min Jiangxi's good looks, her words laced with a subtle implication that he was merely a pretty face. Min Jiangxi, understanding the underlying jab, didn't dare retort. Lost in thought, he was startled when Qin Jian suddenly placed a piece of shuiyu, presumably a dish, into his bowl. The meaning of the gesture was clear to everyone present. The exchange of gratitude seemed directed at Feng Jingyun as well. Finally, the meal ended, and Min Jiangxi had an excuse to leave, but Qin Jian offered him a ride. Feng Jingyun quickly interjected that her driver was available. Caught between them, Min Jiangxi felt increasingly awkward. The impasse ended when Qin Jian, echoing Feng Jingyun's earlier comment, remarked on Min Jiangxi's attractiveness, effectively silencing her. In the car, Qin Jian addressed the dinner table conversation, assuring Min Jiangxi he understood the veiled barbs and wouldn't be swayed by them. He promised to avoid such situations in the future. Then, changing the subject, he praised Min Jiangxi's effectiveness with Qin Jiating, suggesting they formalize the tutoring arrangement with a contract. Min Jiangxi, concerned about the rapid pace, suggested a trial period. Qin Jian, however, proposed a contract for 100 lessons. Min Jiangxi readily agreed. He was also beginning to see Qin Jian, the rumored tyrant, in a new light. That evening, he celebrated with his friends Cheng Shuang and Lu Yuqi at a casual restaurant. Cheng Shuang was overjoyed at Min Jiangxi's growing reputation. Lu Yuqi, however, remained indignant that the Qin father and son were using Min Jiangxi as a human shield. Min Jiangxi, however, consoled him, saying that the hardships were part and parcel of the job, and even offered his own experiences as an example. Lu Yuqi didn't seem particularly interested in his sermonizing, instead expressing concern for Min Jiangxi's own well-being. Resigned, Min Jiangxi simply replied that these things were to be expected. Cheng Shuang, attempting to steer the conversation elsewhere, asked Min Jiangxi if anyone had been pursuing him recently under the guise of appreciating stone carvings. Min Jiangxi immediately understood who she meant and quickly confirmed that the person in question had been relentlessly pursuing him despite being rejected. Unexpectedly, the next day, as Min Jiangxi was on his way to work, a man named Zhou Yang intercepted him in the parking lot. Despite Min Jiangxi's repeated rejections, Zhou Yang continued his unwelcome advances, even grabbing his wrist to prevent him from leaving. Zhou Yang's increasingly brazen behavior was witnessed by the driver Qin Zhan had sent. With a firm grip on Zhou Yang's arm, the driver intervened, allowing Min Jiangxi to seize the opportunity and escape. After being warned, Zhou Yang was released. Min Jiangxi hadn't expected Qin Zhan's protection to be so thorough. Just then, Feng Jingyun called to inquire about the situation. Watching Min Jiangxi calmly get into the car, Feng Jingyun, his mind already made up, assured him that he would handle everything swiftly. Arriving at the hillside villa, Min Jiangxi found Qin Jiating unwell and still in a drowsy haze. Startled awake by Min Jiangxi, he was further surprised to see a large bowl of porridge in his hands. Knowing Qin Jiating's tendency to put on a brave face, Min Jiangxi hadn't mentioned his illness to anyone. Instead, using the upcoming assessment as an excuse, he had prepared a meal to help him regain some strength. Qin Jiating, surprised that Min Jiangxi could cook, accepted the porridge without protest. Min Jiangxi inquired about his reluctance to admit he was sick. Qin Jiating simply replied that Qin Zhan wasn't home, prompting Min Jiangxi to reflect that the boy simply lacked the presence of family. Since he couldn't conduct the lesson, Min Jiangxi felt it best not to overstay his welcome. After a few parting words, he returned home. Later that evening, he was roused by a knock at his door. Upon answering, he discovered it was Qin Jiating. After inquiring about his health and confirming he had come alone, Min Jiangxi was met with a teasing remark about Qin Zhan. When pressed about the reason for his visit, Qin Jiating finally revealed he had come to invite Min Jiangxi to dinner, claiming it was at Qin Zhan's behest. Just then, the doorbell rang again. Assuming it was Qin Zhan, Min Jiangxi opened the door without hesitation. To his shock, he found a drunken Zhou Yang, who, fueled by alcohol, immediately became aggressive. Seeing this, Qin Jiating rushed forward and punched Zhou Yang in the face. Enraged, Zhou Yang began to grapple with him. Fearing for Qin Jiating's safety, Min Jiangxi, barefoot, rushed to intervene. The scene descended into chaos, and none of them noticed Qin Zhan's incoming call. Min Jiangxi, in his attempt to de-escalate the situation, was thrown aside, injuring his leg. With Min Jiangxi out of the way, Zhou Yang lunged towards Qin Jiating. At the critical moment, Qin Zhan appeared, blocking the blow. A swift flurry of punches followed, pinning Zhou Yang to the ground. He even grabbed a nearby fruit knife, raising it as if to strike. However, Min Jiangxi urgently stopped him, concerned about the negative impact it would have on Qin Jiating. Suddenly, a thud echoed through the room. Yo Yang Lai Un. Looking up, they saw Qin Jiating standing there, having knocked Zhou Yang out with a vase. Qin Zhan then called someone to clean up the mess. Turning to Min Jiangxi, whose leg was now red and swollen, Qin Zhan ordered him to change and go to the hospital. At the hospital, Min Jiangxi continued to apologize to Qin Zhan, who insisted that Qin Jiating had acted of his own accord. He then proceeded to praise Qin Jiating, a compliment that Qin Zhan seemed to find somewhat unsatisfactory. He pointed out that Min Jiangxi had spent the entire journey apologizing and praising Qin Jiating, yet hadn't expressed any gratitude towards him. He then proceeded to scold him for this oversight. Min Jiangxi, having not realized this, quickly offered his sincere thanks. Qin Zhan, however, countered that Min Jiangxi's care for Qin Jiating earlier in the day negated the need for gratitude. With the conversation circling back to Qin Jiating, Min Jiangxi, resolute, launched into a lengthy discourse on child-rearing, citing the vase incident as an example of how focusing solely on character development without instilling moral values could be detrimental. Qin Zhan retorted, asking if he was implying he lacked morals. Min Jiangxi, undeterred, pressed on. Qin Zhan, clearly not wanting a lecture, reiterated that Min Jiangxi's only responsibility was to get along with Qin Jiating. However, Min Jiangxi persisted, arguing that education couldn't be separated from family, and that Qin Jiating shouldn't be treated as merely a task. Qin Zhan then asked what Qin Jiating was if not a task. After a moment of thought, Min Jiangxi replied that he wasn't a younger brother, but something of a friend. The other party didn't seem to mind this. He even countered by asking Min Jiangxi if he truly considered Qin Jiating a younger brother. then what should he call himself? This question made Min Jiangxi realize that his previous words had implied he was reaching above his station. He hastily explained himself, but the other man simply brushed it off with a smile. Just then, Qin Jiating's examination finished, and he called for Min Jiangxi to come in. Min Jiangxi was about to refuse, but Qin Zhan, citing a work-related injury, ushered him inside. The examination results came back quickly, a minor fracture in his lower leg. He inquired about the severity and whether further treatment was necessary. To his surprise, the doctor's attitude was appalling, responding curtly even to the patient's questions. After writing the prescription, Min Jiangxi asked about the medications, and the doctor became even more impatient, telling him to ask the pharmacy. At this point, Qin Zhan lost his patience. He stepped forward and reprimanded the doctor, then told Min Jiangxi to ask again. Seeing this, Min Jiangxi had no choice but to repeat his questions. Now facing someone with a temper, the doctor's demeanor changed completely, and he thoroughly answered Min Jiangxi's inquiries. With the examination complete, the three of them left the hospital. Min Jiangxi expressed his gratitude once more and offered to treat them to a meal another day as a farewell. However, Qin Zhan wasn't ready to let him go and insisted they dine together immediately. At the entrance of Feng Man Lu restaurant, Qin Jiating suddenly announced he needed to buy a hat from the neighboring mall. Min Jiangxi offered to accompany him, but Qin Jiating insisted he was giving the two of them some alone time. Worried about Qin Zhan misinterpreting the situation, Min Jiangxi quickly shooed Qin Jiating away. Turning back, he immediately explained himself to Qin Zhan, who seemed unconcerned. The two of them headed inside, only to bump into Qin Zhan's nemesis, Jiang Dong. Qin Zhan reminded Min Jiangxi to stay close. Min Jiangxi followed, keeping a watchful eye on Jiang Dong as they passed. As expected, he saw Jiang Dong reach out and try to grab him. He dodged, but the sudden movement aggravated his leg injury, and he stumbled. A hand shot out to catch him, and he fell against Qin Zhan. To avoid any misunderstanding, he quickly straightened up and thanked Qin Zhan. Having witnessed the attempted assault, Qin Zhan naturally stepped forward to confront Jiang Dong. Jiang Dong, who had a history of antagonizing Qin Zhan, didn't back down. He even brought up their previous racing incident as a taunt. Qin Zhan issued a final warning, but Jiang Dong only intensified his mockery. Qin Zhan, reaching his limit, was about to retaliate when Min Jiangxi stepped in front of him. Blocked by Min Jiangxi, Qin Zhan could only suppress his fury, forcing out a single word, "Leave." Jiang Dong's friend, also wanting to avoid a scene, pulled him away, but Jiang Dong wasn't quite finished. He leaned towards Min Jiangxi and asked his name. Fearing that Qin Zhan would be at a disadvantage in a fight, Min Jiangxi reluctantly answered, hoping to get rid of him. Even as he left, Jiang Dong couldn't resist one last flirtatious remark directed at Min Jiangxi, a final jab at Qin Zhan. The animosity between the two men was palpable. With Jiang Dong gone, Qin Zhan immediately turned to Min Jiangxi, demanding an explanation. Knowing Qin Zhan was still angry, Min Jiangxi carefully chose his words, offering a plausible excuse and avoiding any direct confrontation. Qin Zhan didn't press the issue further, only telling Min Jiangxi to stay away from Jiang Dong. Min Jiangxi agreed, but inwardly, he was still troubled. Back home, exhausted after a long day, he had just lain down to rest when his friend Cheng Shuang initiated a video call. He had mentioned Feng Jingyun to Cheng Shuang earlier. Now, while enjoying a bath, he filled him in on Feng Jingyun's background and influence. However, Cheng Shuang didn't seem particularly concerned about Feng Jingyun and instead asked about Jiang Dong. Cheng Shuang, a source of gossip, launched into a detailed account of the history between Jiang Dong and Qin Zhan. Min Jiangxi was surprised that Qin Zhan wasn't afraid of offending Jiang Dong's family. Cheng Shuang added that the Qin family held the highest status in Shenzhen. Min Jiangxi, however, believed there must be a reason behind Qin Zhan's reputation. Having said all he wanted to say, Cheng Shuang prepared to end the call. After hanging up, Min Jiangxi noticed a message from Qin Zhan, requesting a meeting the next day at Yinshangguan. The following day, he arrived punctually at the designated private room in Yinchangguan. Feng Jingyun and Qin Zhan were already waiting. Qin Zhan inquired about his injury, advising him to take care so as not to leave a scar. Feng Jingyun, witnessing this, expressed her displeasure, asking Qin Zhan what his business was with Min Jiangxi. While pouring Min Jiangxi some tea, Qin Zhan responded. He then instructed his subordinate to bring someone in. Seeing who it was, Feng Jingyun was stunned. It turned out to be his own cousin, Zhou Yang. Upon entering, Zhou Yang immediately knelt down to beg for forgiveness. Qin Zhan confronted him about instigating his cousin to harass Min Jiangxi repeatedly and demanded he pay the price. Zhou Yang, however, dismissed it as a trivial matter, claiming Qin Zhan's reaction was exaggerated. Qin Zhan retorted that anyone who crossed him should face consequences. Zhou Yang then questioned the relationship between Qin Zhan and Min Jiangxi. Qin Zhan responded with the same logic, stating it was none of his business. Zhou Yang continued to stubbornly justify himself with legal arguments. At this point, Min Jiangxi couldn't help but interject, pointing out that Zhou Yang's actions were already illegal. Qin Zhan seized the opportunity to add that the charges against Zhou Yang could be further investigated. Seeing the situation, Zhou Yang desperately tried to salvage himself, verbally distancing himself from his cousin's actions. With the matter seemingly resolved, Min Jiangxi prepared to leave. Qin Zhan also took the opportunity to depart, leaving Feng Jingyun alone, seething with resentment. Feng Jingyun had just gotten into his car when Qin Zhan tossed him a set of keys. He explained that they were for an apartment of his, clarifying that it wasn't meant as a form of keeping him, but rather compensation for the potential danger he had inadvertently brought upon Min Jiangxi. Min Jiangxi still felt it was too extravagant a gift. Qin Zhan, however, adopted a nonchalant tone, telling him to consider the apartment a perk of working for him. He even went so far as to express his complete lack of romantic interest in Min Jiangxi, assuring him there was no need to be wary. Seeing Qin Zhan's insistence, Min Jiangxi accepted the apartment, finding no further reason to refuse. With the housing situation settled, he spared no expense, inviting his close friends Cheng Shuang and Lu Yuqi to dine in a private room at a high-end restaurant. He told them about his impending move. Lu Yuqi immediately declared his intention to move in with him. Cheng Shuang, who had previously been rejected by the Qin family, felt a measure of vindication upon hearing the news. At that moment, a waiter approached their table, placing a bottle of exorbitantly priced red wine before them. Lu Yuqi, recognizing its value, was the first to express astonishment at Min Jiangxi's lavish spending. However, Min Jiangxi hadn't ordered any wine. He inquired with the waiter, who explained that it was a gift from another private room. When pressed for a name, the waiter remained tight-lipped. Unsure of the sender's identity, Min Jiangxi felt uneasy and decided to investigate personally. He walked to the other room and knocked. To his surprise, he found Jiang Dong, Qin Zhan's arch-rival, inside. He immediately turned to leave. Unfortunately, it was too late. Jiang Dong called out his name, stopping him at the door. Min Jiangxi turned back, telling Jiang Dong that they weren't acquainted and that he would pay for the wine. Jiang Dong retorted, asking if being acquainted meant being like him and Qin Zhan. Min Jiangxi clarified that he wasn't particularly close to Qin Zhan either, stating he was merely the family tutor. Jiang Dong then invited him to join his table. Min Jiangxi explained that he had a contract with Qin Zhan. Jiang Dong didn't press the issue but asked him to show off his skills before leaving. Min Jiangxi, playing along, seriously suggested Jiang Dong buy a few test papers. Then, Jiang Dong abruptly demanded he insult Qin Zhan 3 times in exchange for his freedom. Min Jiangxi challenged him to call Qin Zhan over, stating he would dare to insult him only to his face. The next moment, Jiang Dong raised his phone. Unbeknownst to Min Jiangxi, he had already dialed Qin Zhan. Qin Zhan asked where he was, but Jiang Dong simply hung up. Resigned, Min Jiangxi stated that their feud had nothing to do with him and that he had never provoked Jiang Dong. He pleaded with him not to drag him into their conflict, explaining that he didn't want to make enemies with anyone, nor did he have the capacity for it. Jiang Dong stepped closer, telling him that if he didn't want any trouble, he should greet him proactively the next time they met. Min Jiangxi left and immediately received a call from Qin Zhan. In Qin Zhan's car, he recounted the entire incident. Qin Zhan asked why he hadn't insulted him when prompted by Jiang Dong. Min Jiangxi explained that Qin Zhan was his first client in Shenzhen and that he felt grateful. He understood the difference between professional relationships and personal ones. Qin Zhan then inquired about the conditions Jiang Dong had offered for his release. After hearing the conditions, Qin Zhan declared domineeringly that he wouldn't engage. Min Jiangxi offered an analogy. Children often fight over toys, but if one party shows disinterest, the other eventually loses interest as well. Conversely, the more one party cares, the more the other believes the coveted object is desirable, intensifying the fight. Qin Zhan responded to the analogy by asking why he should let anyone have his things. He then asked Min Jiangxi, "Are you a thing?" He declared that even if he had no use for something, it wasn't anyone else's place to covet it. Qin Zhan then asked if Min Jiangxi was eager to get involved with Jiang Dong. He quickly denied it, saying he was trying to avoid him. Qin Zhan then instructed him to slap Jiang Dong across the face if he approached him again, assuring him he had nothing to fear with Qin Zhan on his side. The next morning, Min Jiangxi arrived at Qin Jiating's room and pulled open the curtains. He announced he'd brought him something good. Qin Jiating ignored him. Min Jiangxi then pulled back the covers, only to find Qin Zhan lying shirtless on Qin Jiating's bed. He quickly turned around and apologized, asking where Qin Jiating was. Qin Zhan said he didn't know. They'd been watching a movie together last night. Just then, Qin Jiating strolled in casually and asked what Min Jiangxi had brought him. Seeing it was a cake, Qin Jiating declared he wasn't a child and didn't want it. Qin Zhan, however, got out of bed and took the cake, telling Qin Jiating to get ready for class. Qin Jiating grumbled that Qin Zhan had fallen asleep only 20 minutes into the movie. Eating the cake, Qin Zhan retorted that the supposedly scary movie was a joke and he wouldn't have dared watch it alone. Qin Jiating shooed him out, saying he needed to get to class. After class, Min Jiangxi went downstairs. He told Qin Zhan that Qin Jiating was still studying, though he suspected it was a comic book. Qin's grandfather praised Qin Jiating for being well-behaved recently. While pouring tea, Qin Zhan introduced Min Jiangxi to his grandfather. Min Jiangxi bowed politely, and Qin's grandfather invited him to sit. Feng Jingyun, sitting nearby, reminded Qin's grandfather that lunch was almost ready. Qin Zhan invited Min Jiangxi to stay for lunch, offering to drive him home afterward. Just then, Qin Jiating came downstairs. Qin's grandfather immediately called him over and affectionately ruffled his hair. Qin Jiating told him to calm down. Qin's grandfather teased him, saying he was like a tiger whose tail couldn't be touched. Min Jiangxi tried to suppress a smile. Qin Zhan told him to laugh if he wanted to. There were no rules against laughter in their house. Hearing this, everyone looked at Min Jiangxi, leaving him speechless. Feng Jingyun explained that he had gone to visit Qin's grandfather earlier, but the older man had decided on a whim to visit Qin Jiating. He had called Qin Zhan that morning, but Qin Zhan hadn't answered. Qin Zhan said his phone hadn't been with him. He then turned to Min Jiangxi and asked if he had seen his phone when waking him up that morning. Min Jiangxi awkwardly replied that he hadn't. Their exchange made Feng Jingyun clench his jaw. Min Jiangxi had just taken a sip of tea when Qin Jiating accused him of favoritism. Qin's grandfather asked who he favored and who he neglected. Qin Jiating immediately declared that he favored his uncle over him. Min Jiangxi quickly explained that he had brought him a cake that morning. A moment later, it dawned on him. Qin Zhan was actually Qin Jiating's uncle. Until that moment, he had assumed they were father and son. Qin Jiating launched into a complaint to his grandfather, accusing Min Jiangxi of being closer to Qin Zhan despite being hired as his tutor. Qin's grandfather immediately offered to intervene, asking if he wanted a new uncle or a new tutor. Qin Jiating, however, said he wanted neither, since his uncle liked Min Jiangxi. Seeing the pair subtly setting traps with their words, Min Jiangxi excused himself, claiming he had to leave for work. Just then, Feng Jingyun stood up to offer him a ride. Qin's grandfather agreed, and Qin Zhan, who had also stood, sat back down. In the car, Feng Jingyun told Min Jiangxi that Zhou Yang was his cousin, though they weren't close, and that he had already gotten what he deserved. Min Jiangxi stated that he wasn't a policeman and wouldn't make accusations without proof. Feng Jingyun then mentioned he'd heard Min Jiangxi had a friend who ran a media company and offered to introduce him to some of his own contacts in that field. Min Jiangxi declined, saying his friend didn't like to be indebted to others. Feng Jingyun explained that since Min Jiangxi was chosen by Qin Zhan, helping him would also benefit himself in Qin Zhan's eyes. Min Jiangxi told him he was only trying to help Qin Zhan, and that he would eventually realize that. With that, he got out of the car. He had barely stepped out when he received a call from Qin Zhan, who asked what Feng Jingyun had said to him. Min Jiangxi replied that they had discussed Zhou Yang. Qin Zhan then warned him that he didn't want anything he saw or heard at the Qin residence to reach outsiders. He also mentioned extending Min Jiangxi's contract for several hundred more lessons before hanging up. Min Jiangxi was left speechless. He really did dole out rewards and punishments efficiently. The next day, Qin Jiating refused to get out of bed unless Min Jiangxi sang him a song. Min Jiangxi said he couldn't sing and offered to let Qin Jiating sleep for another half hour. He finally relented and began to sing. After just 2 lines, Qin Jiating requested "Love Confession Balloon." Min Jiangxi dutifully looked up the lyrics on his phone and began to sing. Qin Jiating couldn't bear Min Jiangxi's off-key singing any longer and finally got out of bed. Once up, he asked Min Jiangxi if Feng Jingyun had given him any trouble yesterday, adding that the two of them, along with Qin Zhan, were a united front. He reassured Min Jiangxi that he needn't be afraid of any tricks Feng Jingyun might try to pull. He also reminded Min Jiangxi that Qin Zhan renewed his contract to keep him quiet. If any rumors started circulating, Min Jiangxi would be the first to suffer the consequences. Min Jiangxi plainly stated that keeping secrets was his forte, and it was a good way to earn a living. Qin Jiating grumbled that Qin Zhan hadn't even bothered to ask him if he wanted a tutor in the first place. Min Jiangxi told him that he'd agreed to the tutoring job so Qin Jiating could be free of him sooner. They were friends, after all. Qin Jiating puffed out his chest and declared that if Min Jiangxi called him Big Brother, he'd accept the situation. Min Jiangxi readily obliged, calling him Big Brother. He declared that during lessons, he would be Qin Jiating's teacher, but the rest of the time, he'd be his older brother. Qin Jiating was immensely pleased. The very next second, however, Min Jiangxi's expression turned serious as he launched into their lesson. After the lesson, they went downstairs for breakfast together. Qin Zhan was still asleep. Qin Jiating asked the housekeeper to prepare a cake for him and then went to eat with Min Jiangxi. At the table, Min Jiangxi remarked that sometimes Qin Jiating seemed more like a parental figure. He really doted on Qin Zhan. He added, though, that too many sweets weren't good for anyone. Qin Jiating told him that Qin Zhan didn't really like anything other than sweets. Min Jiangxi was surprised. He hadn't realized Qin Zhan had such a sweet tooth. It seemed Qin Zhan had a little princess hidden inside. He turned his head and found Qin Zhan sitting beside him with a plate of cake. Min Jiangxi was momentarily speechless. Qin Zhan asked if he wanted some. Flustered, Min Jiangxi quickly declined. Qin Jiating, however, chimed in, asking if Min Jiangxi hadn't been looking at the cake. Then was he looking at his second uncle? Min Jiangxi immediately told him not to bring their personal classroom grudges into real life and try to use him as a weapon. Qin Jiating pressed on, asking if his second uncle was so undesirable. At that moment, Qin Zhan spoke up, asking which was harder, finding a girlfriend or finding a tutor. Min Jiangxi told him not to worry about it. Qin Zhan, however, said he couldn't help but worry. He currently only needed a tutor, not a girlfriend. And even if he were looking for a girlfriend, he wouldn't look among his employees. He told Min Jiangxi to just do his job and not overthink things. Back at Xinshin Group, Min Jiangxi received a call from Feng Jingyun. Feng Jingyun brought up his connections in the media industry again. He'd had someone send Chang Shuang an invitation to a private gathering and asked Min Jiangxi to join them that evening. Min Jiangxi thanked him. Suddenly, Lu Yuqi appeared behind him, asking if that had been Feng Jingyun. He sternly warned Min Jiangxi that Feng Jingyun was definitely up to no good. He knew Cheng Shuang was unaware of the situation and was thrilled to receive the invitation. Min Jiangxi said that even if it was a trap, he had to go. Feng Jingyun saw him as a rival. If he managed to take Min Jiangxi down, he'd use Cheng Shuang as a warning to others. Outside the gathering that evening, Cheng Shuang learned the truth behind the invitation. He immediately declared he wouldn't go. If Qin Zhan found out, he'd likely think Cheng Shuang was trying to play both sides. Min Jiangxi knew that many people wanted to use him to get close to Qin Zhan. Qin Zhan was well aware of this. As long as Min Jiangxi remained uninvolved, Qin Zhan would understand. At dinner that day, Qin Zhan had explicitly stated that he wouldn't pursue a romantic relationship with his tutor. Upon hearing this, Min Jiangxi had immediately wanted to relay the message to Feng Jingyun. He was here tonight to show both of them that he was just an ordinary person who looked out for his own interests. He would only side with those who benefited him. Once inside the gathering, Feng Jingyun came over over to greet them cordially. The other guests teased Min Jiangxi, asking why he wasn't keeping a closer eye on such a beautiful tutor that Qin Zhan had hired. One of them snidely remarked that the education industry was lucrative these days, especially if you were attractive. Min Jiangxi, having just arrived in Shenzhen, had managed to land a tutoring job with the Qin family all on his own. Min Jiangxi simply smiled in response. The man was about to continue when Jiang Dong appeared behind Min Jiangxi. He leaned in and asked why Min Jiangxi hadn't greeted him. Min Jiangxi apologized, saying he wasn't wearing his contacts and hadn't recognized him. Jiang Dong then turned to the other two men and told them that Min Jiangxi was his younger sister and that they should watch their words. One of them asked when he'd acquire a younger sister. Jiang Dong replied that his name was Jiang Dong and Min Jiangxi's name was Jiangxi. If they wanted to know when he'd gotten a sister, they should ask his father. Min Jiangxi was left speechless. After the others left, Jiang Dong enthusiastically invited Min Jiangxi to join his side. He claimed that no one would try to sabotage him there. He said Qin Zhan wouldn't care if he associated with Feng Jingyan, but if he got close to Jiang Dong, Qin Zhan would suspect his loyalty. So, Min Jiangxi told him that he was the Qin family tutor and valued his job. He wanted to continue in this profession and stay in Shenzhen. Jiang Dong agreed not to cause him any trouble, suggesting they become friends and assuring him he never screws over his friends. His face was the picture of sincerity. This left Min Jiangxi with no reason to refuse, so he readily agreed. Just then, Jiang Dong received a phone call. The caller told him they'd seen Ding Baining, who still seemed to have feelings for him, and warned him not to get entangled. Jiang Dong's response was nonchalant, dismissing her as just an ex-girlfriend. Later, at the dinner table, the woman who had earlier targeted Min Jiangxi told Ding Baining, who was sitting next to her, that Jiang Dong had just accepted her as his little sister. Successfully riled up, Ding Baining urged the woman to confront Min Jiangxi's friend. The woman approached Cheng Shuang and offered a toast, introducing herself. Cheng Shuang took a sip of his wine. The woman then sneered, implying that with her connections, a small-time actor like Cheng Shuang wasn't worth her time, leaving her wine unfinished. Min Jiangxi retorted that she'd heard the woman had a secret rendezvous with a certain director, rumored to cost 6 figures a night, a price Wushuang Media couldn't afford. Ding Baining, overhearing this, flew into a rage, demanding to know who had invited this woman. Feng Jingyan stepped in to try and calm her down. Ding Baining sat down fuming, accusing Min Jiangxi of not knowing her place. This wasn't her backyard to flirt with whomever she pleased. Min Jiangxi stood up, challenging her, asking who she had been flirting with. At that moment, Jiang Dong appeared behind Min Jiangxi and pressed him back into his chair. He looked at Ding Baining and asked who Min Jiangxi had been flirting with. Ding Baining retorted that she was talking to Min Jiangxi and it was none of his business. Jiang Dong sat down beside Min Jiangxi, stating that he didn't care about others, but Min Jiangxi was different. He then turned to Min Jiangxi with a smile, telling him not to take it to heart. Ding Baining stood up angrily and asked Jiang Dong if he took every woman offered to him. Was he collecting trash? Before Jiang Dong could retort, Min Jiangxi stood up and told Ding Baining to leave. Unrelenting, she continued her tirade, claiming Jiang Dong wouldn't even give her the time of day if it weren't for Min Jiangxi's connection to Qin Zhan. Min Jiangxi stepped in front of Jiang Dong as he started to rise and confront Ding Baining. He refused to leave now. He wanted to see what she would do. Feng Jingyan called Qin Zhan, informing him that his cousin, Ding Baining, was causing a scene with Min Jiangxi and Jiang Dong. Jiang Dong sat back down, ready to continue the confrontation. He'd been with plenty of women, and they'd all parted amicably. He hadn't wronged anyone. He'd never met anyone so clingy and delusional. A few dates didn't equate to a lifetime commitment. She could make herself a laughingstock, but he still had his pride. He warned Ding Baining to remember that people he disliked didn't fare well. Just then, Qin Zhan arrived. He scolded Ding Baining for her drunken rambling, treating garbage as treasure. Anyone who didn't know better would think she was brain damaged. Jiang Dong laughed, suggesting Ding Baining see for herself whether Qin Zhan was garbage or treasure. Qin Zhan addressed Ding Baining directly, telling her, as family, not to let outsiders interfere. He then reprimanded Jiang Dong, asking if his father hadn't taught him manners and if he needed Qin Zhan to teach him. Jiang Dong slammed the table and stood up. He retorted that he'd like to teach Qin Zhan to control his people and keep them from biting. Ding Baining, out of nowhere, accused Min Jiangxi of flirting with her and suggesting they go to a hotel. Qin Zhan's face hardened. He told her to shut up, stating that Min Jiangxi was his. He then turned and told Min Jiangxi to leave with him. Jiang Dong apologized to Min Jiangxi for the scene and offered to treat him to a meal another time. Min Jiangxi nodded with a smile, though inwardly he felt anything but amused. He figured he'd become quite infamous tonight. Outside the villa, Qin Zhan ushered him into the car. He stayed outside to berate Ding Baining, warning her that if she caused another embarrassing scene like this, he wouldn't help her again. In the car, Min Jiangxi offered to explain the details of the evening if Qin Zhan wanted to know. Qin Zhan replied that he could distinguish right from wrong. Min Jiangxi was just a family tutor and could befriend whomever he chose. Min Jiangxi chuckled and said he'd told Jiang Dong he wouldn't take his bait. Tonight's incident was Ding Baining's misunderstanding. Just then, Rong Yijin called. It was his birthday, and everyone was waiting for Qin Zhan to cut the cake. Qin Zhan told him he was bringing someone along. Arriving at the venue, Qin Zhan told Min Jiangxi he wanted to introduce him to a client. Seeing Qin Zhan, Rong Yijin quickly invited him to sit. However, Qin Zhan stopped him, asking where Rong Hao was. After learning his location, Qin Zhan went to the lounge area to find the child. The guests at the party gossiped about Min Jiangxi's attractiveness and assumed he must be married. Qin Zhan warned them that Min Jiangxi was the Qin family's tutor, and anyone who tried anything with him would face his wrath. Everyone quickly and awkwardly changed the subject. Reaching the recreation area, he saw Rong Hao playing darts alone. He approached Rong Hao, mentioning that the standard distance for darts was 2.44 meters. Rong Hao retorted that he didn't need company, and if he wanted to suck up to someone, he should go find his older brother. He replied that he didn't know anyone there. He'd come with Qin Zhan. He then threw a dart, hitting the bullseye. Rong Hao asked what else he could do. He responded that he was game for anything Rong Hao wanted to play. Qin Zhan arrived to find the two of them, one tall, one shorter, playing games. He hadn't realized Min Jiangxi played games. Min Jiangxi won the game. Rong Hao asked him what his secret move was, and Min Jiangxi began to explain. Suddenly, Rong Hao noticed Qin Zhan watching them from behind. Qin Zhan walked over and asked Rong Hao what he thought of Mr. Min Jiangxi formally introduced himself as Qin Jiating's tutor. Rong Hao asked, puzzled, if he was a gaming tutor. Qin Zhan explained that Mr. Min wasn't just a good academic tutor, he was also pretty good at games. Rong Hao then asked if Min Jiangxi's dart skills were as good as Qin Zhan's. Min Jiangxi modestly claimed he'd just been lucky. Qin Zhan challenged him to try again, telling him not to hold back. Min Jiangxi threw 4 darts, all hitting the bullseye. Qin Zhan stepped up and did the same, even managing to dislodge one of Min Jiangxi's darts with his own. Rong Yijin walked over, accusing Qin Zhan of being ungentlemanly. Qin Zhan replied that competition came first, friendship second. He then turned to go and cut some cake. Behind him, Rong Yijin continued talking to Min Jiangxi. He advised Min Jiangxi not to compete with Qin Zhan again, because if Qin Zhan lost, he would keep playing until he won. Min Jiangxi responded that this was the spirit of competition. Only with such an unwavering attitude, win or lose, could one become stronger. Hearing this, Rong Yijin sighed. He remarked that Mr. Min and Qin Zhan were quite a pair. Qin Zhan, eating cake, reached for another slice. Min Jiangxi got up to fetch him one. As soon as he stood up, Rong Yijin approached him with a toast, saying that he would have to trouble Min Jiangxi to take care of his number 2 in the future. Qin Zhan interjected, asking which number 2 he was referring to. Rong Yijin quickly clarified that he meant Rong Haojin. Min Jiangxi went to get some wine. Qin Zhan immediately blocked him. He reminded Min Jiangxi that he was allergic to alcohol and offered him water instead. Min Jiangxi accepted the water in place of wine to toast Rong Yijin, who then suggested that Qin Zhan drink in his place. Qin Zhan readily raised his glass. Seeing this, the others joked, asking if he was going to cover for Min Jiangxi all night. Qin Zhan, playing along, challenged them to bring it on. Everyone started pouring drinks. Min Jiangxi whispered to Qin Zhan that he wasn't actually allergic to alcohol and could toast everyone himself. Qin Zhan replied that he knew and told him not to try to win them over with kindness. He said that now that he'd started, he wouldn't be able to leave the room. He then stood up, glass in hand. Watching Qin Zhan, Min Jiangxi realized that he wasn't a bad person, at least not the villain he was made out to be. After a bowl of wine, Qin Zhan was already a little drunk. Min Jiangxi went over to check on him. Qin Zhan excused himself to go to the restroom. Inside, he heard a knock at the door. Hearing Min Jiangxi's voice, he opened the door. Min Jiangxi had brought him yogurt to help with the alcohol. Seeing the people behind Min Jiangxi, Qin Zhan pulled him into the restroom. He took a sip of the yogurt and immediately spat it out, the sourness overwhelming him. Min Jiangxi then pulled a grape out of his bag and offered it to him. Qin Zhan asked if he was sure grapes would help with the alcohol, pointing out that wine was made from grapes. Min Jiangxi explained that it wasn't that kind of grape. Qin Zhan quipped, asking if he'd found a grape specifically designed to counteract alcohol. He burst out laughing. Min Jiangxi commented on his easy amusement. After eating the grape, Qin Zhan had someone drive him home. Rong Yijin teased him about his weakening constitution, saying he didn't need to sneak off like that. Qin Zhan reminded him that Min Jiangxi wasn't like that. Besides, he was the first person who could get Qin Jiating to study. He stood to the side, noticing that the grape Min Jiangxi had given him actually seemed to be working. Seeing him lost in thought, Rong Yijin asked him what he was thinking about. He replied, "Grapes," and then picked up his drink and rejoined them. After the drinks, Ruan Xiaodiao pursued Qin Zhan, offering to take care of him. Qin Zhan bluntly stated that he wasn't interested. The next moment, Ruan Xiaodiao threw himself at him. He pushed him away, declaring he could offer money, fame, anything except himself. Back home, Min Jiangxi called Cheng Shuang, who was ecstatic, talking about buying lottery tickets. Min Jiangxi had already thoroughly dealt with the Shuncheng 3 crocodiles. They chatted pleasantly for a few moments before hanging up. Lying in bed, Min Jiangxi's mind replayed the scenes of tonight with Qin Zhan. Then his phone rang. It was Qin Zhan, just checking if he'd gotten home safely. He hung up after the confirmation. Min Jiangxi, already home for 3 hours, was speechless. Qin Zhan must have been truly drunk. The next day at lunch, Qin Jiating stared at the vegetables Min Jiangxi had placed in his bowl, regretting his invitation for Min Jiangxi to join them for the meal. Just then, Qin Zhan arrived beside him, carrying a piece of cake. Min Jiangxi noticed the lipstick stain on Qin Zhan's shirt, but didn't dwell on it. Qin Zhan explained Rong Hao's tutoring schedule. He also reminded Min Jiangxi that the Rong family had many rules and advised him to be mindful. As long as he handled Rong Hao well, they wouldn't treat him poorly. Qin Jiating, from the side, added that if Rong Hao ever needed him, Min Jiangxi should let him know. Feng Jingyun, always well-informed, had learned that Qin Zhan took Min Jiangxi to Rong Yijin's birthday party. He called Min Jiangxi out for a meeting and suggested a career change, promising a much higher income. He even offered to pull strings with Cheng Shuang to facilitate this. Min Jiangxi responded that even close friends should keep their finances separate. Feng Jingyun then threatened to blacklist Cheng Shuang, telling Min Jiangxi to examine his own behavior. Min Jiangxi retorted, asking if he was supposed to reevaluate his own sexuality. He understood if the partners of his male clients felt insecure, but in what capacity was Feng Jingyun questioning him? Feng Jingyun continued his warnings, boasting about his influence in Shuncheng. Min Jiangxi simply asked if he could make Qin Zhan fall for him. He pointed out that Qin Zhan wouldn't appreciate aggressive affections. He also clarified that if he acted immorally and faced consequences, he'd accept them. But if he was targeted while behaving appropriately, he wouldn't be a pushover. His trump card was Qin Jiating. He was the only one who could tutor him, and if anyone targeted him because of Qin Jiating's interest, he wouldn't let it go. Qin Zhan had also promised that as long as he performed his role well, he would be rewarded. Their relationship was mutually beneficial, each taking what they needed. After his conversation with Feng Jingyun, Min Jiangxi received a message from Ding Ke. That evening, at a dinner table, Lu Yuqi assumed Min Jiangxi had called him out because he was being troubled by Qin Zhan. However, Ding Ke revealed that his dream lover had returned. Hearing that Ding Ke was back, Lu Yuqi shot to his feet. The next moment, Ding Ke's voice greeted them. Min Jiangxi stood and greeted him as well. Ding Ke told them to call him by his name. Lu Yuqi, flushed, realized that meant they should address him as senior. Inwardly, however, he was screaming darling. Their conversation turned to Chu Jingxing. Lu Yuqi teased that he was Min Jiangxi's biggest idol. Chu Jingxing, the founder of Xinxing Group, had built his empire from nothing and was their university's pride and joy. Ding Ke mentioned that he'd spoken with Chu Jingxing about Min Jiangxi during a recent trip to Yeqing, highlighting his consistent academic excellence and scholarships. Min Jiangxi blushed, flattered that his idol knew of him. Ding Ke then informed him that Chu Jingxing would be attending Xinxing's annual meeting this year. Min Jiangxi eagerly declared his determination to earn a spot there. Later, at Rong Hao's house, Rong Hao's mother, Ouyang Qing, laid out 3 requirements for him, all of which he readily accepted. Observing her forceful demeanor, he couldn't help but think Rong Hao must be unhappy. He asked Rong Hao's mother what reward Rong Hao would receive if his grades improved. She mistook this as a request for his own reward. He quickly clarified that the reward was intended for Rong Hao. She seemed confused. He then proposed that if Rong Hao's monthly assessment scores met his expectations, he should be granted 1 wish. Rong Hao's mother readily agreed. Back at the Qin residence, Min Jiangxi found Qin Jiading struggling to fly a kite. He offered to help. Qin Jiading promised that if he could get it airborne, he wouldn't have to sing him awake the next morning. However, Min Jiangxi also failed to launch the kite. Qin Jian appeared on the balcony, pointing out the lack of wind and reminding them that it was the weekend, so there was no need to wake Qin Jiading. He then called Qin Jiading, telling him it was time to go back to class. He listened as Qin Jiading asked Qin Jian what flavor cake he wanted for lunch. Qin Jian's unexpectedly endearing question made Min Jiangxi chuckle. Qin Jiading immediately tattled, and after denying it, Qin Jian turned and walked quickly back inside. After the lesson, the 2 of them returned to their kite project. Min Jiangxi suggested they make a lighter kite. Qin Jiading was skeptical, asking if Min Jiangxi even knew how to make a kite. Min Jiangxi retorted that he wouldn't be getting paid extra for lying to him. Just then, Qin Jian spoke up from behind them, calling him out on his bluff. He had already arranged for materials to be delivered. The 3 of them sat down together to build the kite. Min Jiangxi let Qin Jiading decorate the kite's surface. Qin Jiading called out to his uncle, Qin Jian, asking him to bring over the octopus kite so he could just scavenge parts from it. Min Jiangxi protested, saying it was a waste. Qin Jiading argued that he had bought the kite and had the right to do what he wanted with it. Min Jiangxi countered that he was hired help and therefore had the right to quit. However, he added, if the kite failed, it wouldn't be because of his teaching. Qin Jiading quickly backtracked, saying he just wanted to scavenge parts, not fire him. Min Jiangxi began lecturing him about avoiding wastefulness and practicing gratitude. Qin Jiading ran to his uncle to complain, saying Min Jiangxi was indirectly criticizing him by talking about the kite. Qin Jian sided with Min Jiangxi, telling his nephew he was right. Someone nearby chimed in, adding that Qin Jiading needed to stop using others to fight his battles. Subdued, Qin Jiading asked plaintively if he could still scavenge the kite. In the end, he was allowed to. This time, the kite finally flew. On the way back with Min Jiangxi, Qin Jian thanked him. Qin Jiading was very guarded and rarely interacted with people outside the family. Qin Jian assured Min Jiangxi that his efforts were appreciated and encouraged him to ask for help anytime. This offer was essentially a get-out-of-jail-free card in Shuncheng. Just as he got out of the car, Min Jiangxi realized his period had started and he had stained the car seat. He quickly apologized. Qin Jian covered the stain with his jacket and drove Min Jiangxi home. Mortified, Min Jiangxi offered to have the car cleaned. Qin Jian reassured him, telling him not to worry about it. Arriving home, Min Jiangxi said he would wash the jacket and return it. Qin Jian told him to just throw it away. Min Jiangxi was internally groaning. 2 days later, Qin Jiading saw Min Jiangxi with red date cake and brown sugar water. Min Jiangxi explained he was getting old and needed to replenish his qi and blood. Qin Jiading pointed out that his uncle was 2 years older than Min Jiangxi. So if Min Jiangxi was old, what did that make his uncle? Qin Jiading reached for another piece of cake, but Qin Jian stopped him. He told him not to take things from women. Then, turning to Min Jiangxi, Qin Jian said he wasn't royalty and that Min Jiangxi could ask for time off whenever he needed it. After finishing his lesson and returning home, Min Jiangxi was surprised to receive a collection of expensive tonics. Learning they were from Qin Jian, he blushed. He felt he would never be able to repay the Qin family's kindness. The next day, Min Jiangxi arrived at the Rong residence to tutor Rong Hao and found Rong Hao's mother had prepared a mountain of food for him. Rong Hao, annoyed, shooed him away. He was about to close the door, but his mother stopped him, saying she would stay outside with him. Seeing Rong Hao's mother's overbearing behavior, Min Jiangxi stepped forward to intervene. He warned Rong Hao not to slam the door, or this would be his last tutoring session. Seeing Rong Hao's skeptical look, as if questioning whether she was really his mother, Min Jiangxi dramatically offered to resign. He declared that he couldn't expect others to accommodate him just to keep his job. He lamented that he understood Rong Hao. He used to feel like throwing up whenever he opened a book. Rong Hao asked if he was happy now. Min Jiangxi replied that all his suffering stemmed from work. He added that if he got fired a few more times, he'd be expelled. Rong Hao, outwardly cold but inwardly warm, was clearly affected by his words. He told Min Jiangxi to start the lesson. He also mentioned that someone wanted to treat him to dinner afterward. It turned out to be Rong Yijin, who wanted to thank Min Jiangxi with a meal. Qin Jiading excused himself to go to the restroom, and Rong Hao went with him. After the three of them sat down, Rong Yijin showered Min Jiangxi with praise. Min Jiangxi suggested he try being friends with Rong Hao. He added that Rong Hao was a good person, even better than him and Qin Zhan. Qin Zhan, displeased at being dragged into the comparison, retorted that Rong Yijin was the most cunning of them all. Qin Zhan then told Min Jiangxi that Rong Yijin's real reason for inviting him was to tell him to ignore his mother and teach Rong Hao however he saw fit. Happiness was the most important thing. Rong Yijin raised his glass in a toast to Min Jiangxi, including Qin Zhan in the gesture. He said these were all things he should do. After finishing his sentence, he went out to find the two children. After Min Jiangxi left, Rong Yijin, facing Qin Zhan, praised him, saying he was not only handsome, but also good with children and perceptive. He remarked that whoever married him would be incredibly lucky. Unexpectedly, Qin Zhan replied that if Rong Yijin intended to marry him, he'd contribute to the wedding gift, but if not, he should stay away. Rong Yijin didn't believe that Qin Zhan didn't have any feelings for Min Jiangxi. Then he started gossiping about Qin Zhan and Ruan Xiaodiao from the other day. Qin Zhan bluntly stated he wasn't interested in that sort of thing. Min Jiangxi returned with 2 stuffed bears, one for each child. The 2 children were immediately displeased. They had been playing together for so long without speaking, and now, Min Jiangxi's sudden generosity felt like a slap in the face to both of them. Min Jiangxi turned to go to the cake shop. Qin Jiading instantly realized he intended to buy a cake for his second uncle. After they returned, Min Jiangxi placed the cake directly in front of Qin Zhan. He also brought a milk tea for Rong Yijin. The two of them then began discussing business matters. They were currently competing with Chu Jingxing. Rong Yijin argued that Chu Jingxing's institution couldn't compare to the prestige of the Qin family's international school. He believed Chu Jingxing's experience and qualifications were inferior to Qin Zhan's. However, Qin Zhan disagreed, pointing out that Chu Jingxing had many resourceful people around him and had cultivated connections in Yeqing that they lacked. Rong Yijin, watching Qin Zhan continuously eat the cake, wondered aloud if it was really that delicious. He then asked Min Jiangxi why he hadn't bought him one. Min Jiangxi explained that it was because they were about to have dinner. Rong Yijin pressed further, asking if Min Jiangxi was trying to subtly teach someone a lesson about not being wasteful. Min Jiangxi replied that he simply respected everyone's preferences. Rong Yijin asked Qin Zhan what kind of luck he had to meet Min Jiangxi. Qin Zhan retorted by telling him to ask himself what kind of luck he had to meet him. Min Jiangxi quickly interjected, saying it didn't matter what anyone liked to eat, as long as they were happy. Rong Yijin was annoyed that Min Jiangxi seemed to be taking Qin Zhan's side. He claimed it was because Qin Zhan was intimidating and he didn't dare offend him. Qin Zhan responded that whether he was good or bad, Min Jiangxi knew in his heart. After dinner, Min Jiangxi declined Qin Zhan's offer to drive him home. Watching Min Jiangxi's car leave, Qin Zhan remarked to Rong Yijin that what he admired most about Min Jiangxi was his intelligence. The next day, Min Jiangxi arrived at the Luo family home for a trial lesson. He observed that Luo Jiejia was a disciplined child, but under a lot of pressure. Min Jiangxi assured her that he would help her improve her physics scores quickly. Luo Jiejia, however, was terrified of failing again. He shared his own past struggles with physics to encourage her, and she gradually began to open up to him. At that moment, her younger brother burst in, holding an ashtray. He yelled that because of Luo Jiejia, his mother was making him take lessons too. With that, he hurled the ashtray, which smashed on the floor in front of them. Their mother then came in and scolded the boy. Min Jiangxi reminded her that his lessons were billed by the minute. His mother then took her son and left. The scene, however, triggered memories of Min Jiangxi's own past experiences. He now understood the source of Luo Jiejia's pressure. However, he chose to pretend nothing had happened to protect the girl's dignity. After the lesson, the girl's cousin took him to a high-end restaurant. He intended to treat Min Jiangxi to a meal. Upon entering the private room, Min Jiangxi was surprised to find Jiang Dong. Jiang Dong asked him how he knew Luo Zhaoyuan. Min Jiangxi explained that he was there to sign a contract. Hearing this, Jiang Dong demanded to know why Luo Zhaoyuan had brought his sister there. Luo Zhaoyuan explained that it was a coincidence. Jiang Dong berated him for acting without permission, putting him in a difficult position. He then threatened to fire Luo Zhaoyuan, adding that he would speak to Chu Jingxing about it. Min Jiangxi was surprised to learn that Jiang Dong and Chu Jingxing were partners. Afterwards, Min Jiangxi excused himself, saying he had to leave. Jiang Dong, claiming to be more agreeable than Qin Zhan, told him he didn't need an excuse to leave. Min Jiangxi realized it was Jiang Dong's birthday, but he hadn't brought a gift. So, he took a pen from his bag and gave it to him. Jiang Dong pressed the cap and received an electric shock. Min Jiangxi explained it was a self-defense tool. Jiang Dong got up to see him out. Someone, however, took a picture of them from behind and posted it to their social media. Rong Yijin saw the post and showed it to Qin Zhan. Qin Zhan appeared indifferent, saying he had warned Min Jiangxi and whether he listened was his own business. Rong Yijin called Min Jiangxi and asked him to come to the Rong residence. When Min Jiangxi arrived, Rong Yijin inquired about his family's origins. Min Jiangxi replied that he had spent a few years in northeast China as a child, later moving to Seoul and finally attending university in Yeqing. Rong Yijin wondered if his parents were from the north and south respectively, and where they were now. He was taken aback when Min Jiangxi revealed that both his parents were deceased. He quickly apologized and offered his support, assuring Min Jiangxi that he could reach out to him or Qin Zhan if he ever faced any difficulties. Min Jiangxi, knowing that such a late-night summons couldn't be for mere pleasantries, asked if the matter concerned Jiang Dong. Rong Yijin warned him that Jiang Dong was trouble, a leech who tried to latch on to anyone close to Qin Zhan, only to discard them later. Min Jiangxi clarified that Jiang Dong wasn't his type and that he had made it clear he wouldn't be accepting any business from him. The next moment, Rong Yijin asked about Min Jiangxi's preferred type. Upon hearing the striving type, Rong Yijin immediately brought up Qin Zhan. Min Jiangxi sighed, remarking that while some people had to pave their own paths to success, Qin Zhan was born at the finish line. He added that he wasn't resentful of wealth, but rather prejudiced against those born with silver spoons in their mouths. Those who had to strive were, in most cases, forced to do so. Rong Yijin countered that having money didn't preclude striving. Striving could lead to earning money, but did having money mean one shouldn't strive? He suspected Min Jiangxi held this biased view and that it would hinder his ability to tutor Qin Jiating and Rong Hao effectively. Min Jiangxi was stunned by this accusation. Rong Yijin confessed to being all style and no substance, but revealed that Qin Zhan was an Oxford graduate. This revelation surprised Min Jiangxi. He went on to explain that Qin Zhan had studied philosophy, but halfway through, he'd seemingly grasped the meaning of life and dropped out. He then pursued business, and though he hadn't yet received his diploma, he had already established several companies and schools. Min Jiangxi realized that the wealthy and the poor were fundamentally different. Their levels of effort couldn't be compared. Min Jiangxi apologized and assured Rong Yijin that he wouldn't instill the idea that wealth negated the need for hard work in Qin Jiating and Rong Hao. Qin Zhan interjected, stating he knew Min Jiangxi wouldn't, but that he inherently looked down on the rich and believed they wouldn't strive as fiercely as those from humble beginnings. At that point, Qin Zhan challenged Min Jiangxi to a duel, a race to complete the same set of SSS-level problems. Whoever finished first would be the winner. 3 hours later, a victor emerged. Min Jiangxi lost by 5 seconds. He wondered why Qin Zhan, with his aptitude for science, didn't tutor Qin Jiating himself. Qin Zhan replied that everyone had their specialties and he wasn't teacher. With that, he drove Min Jiangxi home. At the entrance to his building, Min Jiangxi thanked him. Rong Yijin watched them from afar. The next day, Min Jiangxi found Qin Jiating asleep at the table and urged him to go to bed. Qin Jiating mumbled that he had been helping Qin Zhan with a video game. There was a level he couldn't beat. Min Jiangxi picked up the phone and cleared the level in moments. Astonished, Qin Jiating asked if he played often. With a confident grin, Min Jiangxi suggested he might be a natural. Qin Jiating scoffed and asked if he knew who developed the game. A flicker of suspicion crossed Min Jiangxi's face. Could be Qin Jiang? The next second, Qin Jiating confirmed his suspicion, revealing that it was developed by Qin Jiang's gaming company. He added that Qin Jiang was a true genius, while he himself possessed only a bit of cleverness. Min Jiangxi quickly agreed, then added that there were probably a dozen, if not more, women vying for his uncle's attention. Just then, Qin Jiang entered the room. Qin Jiating immediately praised Min Jiangxi's gaming skills, saying he was waiting for the genius to finish his post-game analysis. Qin Jiang asked Min Jiangxi for his opinion on the game. Min Jiangxi demurred, claiming to be a layman in such matters, and suggested that Lu Yuqi, an expert in the field, could try it out after its release and offer feedback. Qin Jiang, however, instructed him to take the game with him now. Qin Jiating handed him the phone. Qin Jiang told Qin Jiating to apply himself, lest he grow up wealthy and looked down upon, mistaken for someone with more style than substance. Hearing this, Min Jiangxi quickly reassured Qin Jiang that Qin Jiating would undoubtedly become an exceptional individual. Finally, he requested a few days of leave from Qin Jiang, who then excused himself. Qin Jiating was annoyed that Min Jiangxi hadn't consulted him about the leave. Min Jiangxi explained that their study plan would continue as usual, and he would conduct their lessons via video call. It turned out that he was taking leave to attend Jiang Xian's wedding in Yeqing with Cheng Shuang and Lu Yuqi. Jiang Xian welcomed them inside, mentioning that many of their old classmates were present. Cheng Shuang wondered where the groom was. Lu Yuqi informed them that the groom, Luo Dingyan, was the second in command at the Yeqing Department of Education and in his 50s. Cheng Shuang was perplexed. Why would Jiang Xian marry a man that old? Min Jiangxi, however, said it was his prerogative. He had a clear goal. People like him always got what they wanted. Lu Yuqi felt he was becoming increasingly materialistic. He declared that he loved himself more than love and the financial security it brought. Money that wasn't earned by his own hands was never reliable. Just then, someone nearby chimed in with a well said. Zhang Yang expressed his admiration for the sentiment and wanted to get to know him. Min Jiangxi immediately linked arms with Lu Yuqi, declaring he had a boyfriend. Zhang Yang didn't believe him. The next second, Jiang Dong appeared, claiming the role of Min Jiangxi's boyfriend. He even scared Zhang Yang away. Turning to Min Jiangxi, he explained that he'd only said it to save the situation. Min Jiangxi asked him what he was doing there. He said he was there to steal the bride. Min Jiangxi, puzzled, asked if he was interested in Luo Dingyan. Jiang Dong said he wasn't interested in Luo Dingyan, but in his work. He explained he was waiting for someone else and suggested the three of them going ahead. He called Chu Jingxing. Chu Jingxing told him he'd seen Qin Jiang in the parking garage. Min Jiangxi was stopped by Zhang Yang, who knew that neither of the men earlier had been his boyfriend. Min Jiangxi ignored him and tried to leave, but Zhang Yang stepped on the hem of his dress. His zipper slid down. He quickly covered himself. Zhang Yang still wouldn't give up. Just then, Chu Jingxing suddenly appeared and grabbed Zhang Yang's outstretched hand. Knowing he couldn't afford to provoke Chu Jingxing, Zhang Yang left. Chu Jingxing draped his jacket over Min Jiangxi and walked away. When he returned, Cheng Shuang asked him whose jacket he was holding. He explained it was Chu Jingxing's. Cheng Shuang was surprised to hear Chu Jingxing was there. Then he told Min Jiangxi that Qin Jiang had also arrived. At that moment, Jiang Dong reappeared behind him. Chu Jingxing was with him. Min Jiangxi quickly stood up and returned the jacket. Jiang Dong, confused, asked what was going on. Chu Jingxing explained that Min Jiangxi was a junior from his university. He smiled and welcomed Jiang Dong to Xinqing. Min Jiangxi quickly thanked him. Jiang Dong noticed Min Jiangxi blushing. He explained that it was hot in there. Meanwhile, Qin Jiang learned about Zhang Yang harassing Min Jiangxi. He ordered someone to bring Zhang Yang to his private room. A waiter brought him grapes and yogurt. He knew instantly that Min Jiangxi had sent them. In the private room, Zhang Yang waited for Qin Jiang. He learned that Qin Jiang was also there because of Min Jiangxi. He foolishly provoked Qin Jiang. The next second, Qin Jiang smashed a bottle over his head. Then came a flurry of punches and kicks. Zhang Yang tried to use his father's name to intimidate Qin Jiang. but it had no effect on Qin Zhan. He told Zhang Yang to call whoever he wanted. Zhang Yang frantically tried to call for help, but as soon as people heard who it was, they refused to come. Rong Yijin urged Qin Zhan to restrain himself. Beating someone up like that at a wedding was excessive. Qin Zhan replied that he could tolerate anything except being wronged. Rong Yijin continued to plead with him, pointing out the recklessness of beating the son of Yeqing's head of education in Yeqing itself. Qin Zhan, however, was busy testing a new game. Exasperated, Rong Yijin yelled at him. Qin Zhan put down his phone and said he'd hit whoever he wanted. He added that if the Education Bureau didn't approve his application to open a school there, he wouldn't leave. At that moment, Rong Yijin realized that Zhang Yang had messed with Min Jiangxi. Qin Zhan declared that no one could bully his people. Rong Yijin immediately understood. Zhang Yang had crossed the line. He was lucky to be alive. Qin Zhan asked if anyone had seen Min Jiangxi. He was told that Min Jiangxi had returned to Shunsheng and had arranged to play soccer with Rong Hao and Qin Jiating. He feigned indifference but inwardly cursed Qin Jiating, the little brat. Rong Yijin then praised Min Jiangxi, saying that Rong Hao, who hadn't exercised in 800 years, was actually trying to lose weight by playing soccer. Qin Zhan, thinking about bonuses and cuts, called Qin Jiating. Qin Jiating told him that Min Jiangxi's friend had already completed the game and provided feedback. Qin Zhan told him not to bother Min Jiangxi and hung up. Rong Hao, curious about Qin Zhan's company's new game, was given a copy by Qin Jiating. Min Jiangxi reminded him that it was a closed beta and shouldn't be shared with outsiders. Just then, Qin Zhan sent a message. He said that the grapes in yogurt this time weren't sour. He returned the smile. On the other end of the line, Qin Zhan also smiled. Back home, Rong Huilin asked Rong Hao where he had been. He told her that Min Jiangxi had suggested he get more exercise, so they went to play soccer. Rong Huilin noticed he was holding a new game developed by Qin Zhan's company. Rong Hao explained he got it at Min Jiangxi's house. He put the phone on the table and went to take a shower. Rong Huilin stared at the phone with a look of hatred in her eyes. After Min Jiangxi finished tutoring Qin Jiating, the three of them sat down to eat. Qin Jiating asked Qin Zhan if he had received the permit. Qin Zhan told him that Mingyu International could now establish a school in Yeqing. Hearing this, Min Jiangxi worried that Chu Jingxing hadn't received his permit because he had offended Zhang Yang. Qin Zhan then told him that his friend's advice had been very helpful for their game. He relayed Lu Yuqi's praise, saying the game was excellent and sure to be a hit. Hearing this, Qin Zhan generously offered to send him some game cards when it launched. Back home, Min Jiangxi called Jiang Dong. He asked for Chu Jingxing's phone number. Jiang Dong asked him what was going on, suggesting he could tell him instead. He told Jiang Dong about his concerns. Jiang Dong told him not to overthink it. Chu Jingxing hadn't received the permit because Qin Zhan had used his connections, influence, and business tactics. Jiang Dong asked if the permit had gone to Qin Zhan. He sounded displeased. Min Jiangxi replied that it didn't matter who got the permit, his salary wouldn't change. He was just worried that good people would be affected. He then hung up. On the other end of the line, Jiang Dong suspected that Qin Zhan had beaten Zhang Yang. 7 stitches. He must be really into her. The next day, at the Qin residence, Qin Zhan had already slept for 10 hours. Qin Jiating, seeing him sleep in even later than himself, played a recording of Min Jiangxi singing. Qin Zhan immediately bolted upright. He even chuckled, saying it was invigorating. Qin Zhan retorted that if he drove Min Jiangxi away, he'd be illiterate. Qin Jiating quickly insisted he hadn't forced Min Jiangxi to sing. Qin Zhan said Min Jiangxi wouldn't dare hit or yell at him, so singing was his only recourse. Qin Jiating pointed out that he had been getting up on his own lately. Then he played another song. This made Qin Zhan spit out the water he was drinking. Qin Zhan hadn't realized Min Jiangxi had such a cute side. He asked Qin Jiating to send him all the recordings. They returned to the original topic. It turned out Qin Jiating wanted to ask him some questions. Qin Zhan wondered why he was so eager. Qin Jiating explained that whoever had the worst grades would be on Min Jiangxi's team for the next soccer game. He complained that Min Jiangxi was terrible and he didn't want to lose. Qin Zhan solved the problems in a few strokes, but then realized he had only written the answers, not the process. Qin Zhan explained that Qin Jiating hadn't learned his method yet and suggested he ask Min Jiangxi tomorrow. Qin Jiating grumbled that Qin Zhan couldn't even teach a middle schooler. Qin Zhan retorted that he could earn money to hire a tutor for him, while all Qin Jiating could do was play pranks on the tutor. Qin Jiating indignantly declared that when he grew up and earned money, he would send Qin Zhan to the best nursing home and would start saving his allowance now. Rong Hao and Qin Jiating were playing at Min Jiangxi's place. Rong Hao wanted garlic prawns, so Min Jiangxi handed him some garlic to peel. 1 second Qin Jiating was gloating. The next Min Jiangxi had him washing vegetables. They both loved Min Jiangxi's cooking. He promised to cook for them every week as long as they kept their grades up. A sudden phone call from Rong Hao's mother shattered their happy mood. She had come to pick him up. In the car, Rong's mother lectured him about the differences between boys and girls and told him to be mindful of his behavior. She touched Rong Hao's hand, and he immediately pulled away. Rong's mother smelled the odor on his hand. He told her he had been peeling garlic. Rong's mother flew into a rage, furious that Min Jiangxi dared to make him do such chores. What did she think he was? Rong Hao shot back, asking what she thought he was. He clenched his fists and said she treated him like a pet, practically ready to put a leash around his neck. Rong's mother scolded him for speaking to her that way. Rong Hao, no longer willing to hold back, poured out his heart. His mother had never considered what he wanted. Rong Yijin's mother had agreed to let Rong Hao go out without anyone following him. But Rong Hao immediately exposed the lie. From the moment he left the house, at least 3 people had been watching him. If Qin Jiating hadn't been there, Rong Yijin's mother wouldn't have allowed him to even enter the building. He had to leave his door open while studying. When he was with friends, he constantly worried his mother would call. He wanted to chat and play games with his friends. He'd even be happy to help with chores like washing vegetables and peeling garlic. But his mother still didn't understand him. She didn't understand why he didn't want to come home and talk to her. He still didn't know what he'd done wrong. Min Jiangxi had told Rong Hao that there are no parents who don't love their children, only parents who don't know how to love their children. Min Jiangxi asked him to name 6 dishes his mother liked, but he could only name 2. Min Jiangxi told him he failed the test. His mother could probably name 10 or 20 dishes she liked. Rong Hao realized that he always complained about his mother not understanding him, but he had never really tried to understand her either. Rong Yijin's mother realized she might have been wrong. She shouldn't have pressured him so much. Rong Hao told her he could distinguish right from wrong and asked her not to be prejudiced against Min Jiangxi. His mother said she wouldn't say anything to Min Jiangxi. She admitted he was a good person. Mother and son finally reconciled. That evening, Qin Zhan went to Min Jiangxi's apartment to pick up Qin Jiating, but he found Qin Jiating washing dishes. Min Jiangxi told him to stop. Qin Zhan, however, told him to continue. He handed him the snacks he'd brought and went downstairs to wait for Qin Jiating. After Qin Jiating left, Lu Yuqi arrived at Min Jiangxi's apartment. He anxiously told Min Jiangxi about something. Dongxing Corporation's new game had character skins identical to those in Qin Zhan's game. He showed Min Jiangxi the game. Min Jiangxi also saw the high degree of similarity. Lu Yuqi worried Qin Zhan would suspect him. Min Jiangxi asked if Qin Zhan's company would suffer a significant loss just because of the leaked character skins. Lu Yuqi explained that if Qin Zhan didn't have enough evidence to sue for plagiarism and copyright infringement, his team would have to redesign the skins and delay the game's release. Lu Yuqi asked him to go to Qin Zhan's house the next day to gauge his reaction. Min Jiangxi said it was normal to be suspected, but he had a clear conscience. The next day, he went to Qin Zhan's house and asked him about the incident. Qin Zhan told him the company was conducting an internal investigation. He said that he and Lu Yuqi were open to being investigated. Qin Zhan said that since he had given the project to him, he trusted him. He told Min Jiangxi to carry on as usual. Rong Yijin asked Qin Zhan why he wasn't intervening regarding Min Jiangxi. He worried that Jiangdong was constantly pestering him and that Min Jiangxi might succumb to Jiangdong's influence. Qin Zhan told him that after the incident, both Qin Jiating and Rong Hao immediately said it couldn't have been Min Jiangxi, and he believed them. Rong Yijin relented. If he guessed right, it was expected. If he guessed wrong, it would just prove he was blinded by lust. Qin Zhan told him to stop obsessing over his tutoring. There were plenty of attractive airheads around, but few were as substantial as Min Jiangxi. Rong Yijin quickly assured him he wouldn't touch him. Qin Zhan told him not to even think about it. Rong Yijin was speechless at his possessiveness. Min Jiangxi went to Qin Jiating's room, and Qin Jiating brought up the game incident. He told Min Jiangxi that it wasn't an inside job. Rong Hao had even questioned the household staff, and there were no issues. Min Jiangxi wondered why he hadn't questioned him. Qin Jiating simply said that even Rong Hao knew to keep secrets, so there was no way Min Jiangxi wouldn't. Qin Jiating then called him to go to class. Seeing how much they trusted him, Min Jiangxi knew he had to confront Jiang Dong and get to the bottom of things. He arranged to meet Jiang Dong. Jiang Dong claimed to know nothing about the incident. He asked Min Jiangxi why he was so sure that the information he received wasn't Qin Zhan copying Dongxing. Min Jiangxi simply replied that he trusted Qin Zhan. Jiang Dong said he could go to Qin Zhan and claim that Min Jiangxi had leaked the information to him, so Qin Zhan would fire him. Min Jiangxi responded that he would rather Qin Zhan suspect him than try to clear his own name by throwing someone else under the bus. With that, he got up to leave. Jiang Dong got up to see him out. In a corner, someone took pictures of them with a camera. In Qin Zhan's office at QC Corporation, Feng Jingyan asked him about the progress of the investigation. Qin Zhan said he trusted the people around him. Feng Jingyan countered that it was precisely the people you trusted who were most likely to betray you. He took out the photos of Min Jiangxi and Jiang Dong together. Feng Jingyan asked him why he didn't suspect Min Jiangxi. Qin Zhan said he was willing to trust him, that his affairs were none of his business. But Feng Jingyan went ahead and told Qin Zhan that Min Jiangxi's father was a fugitive, and that his mother, taking him with her, had interfered in another family. The wronged wife, unable to find his mother, went to his school and slapped him. His mother committed suicide. Feng Jingyan also told Qin Zhan that Min Jiangxi's real name was Jiang Shi, and that he had been living with his maternal uncle all these years. He tried to continue, but Qin Zhan cut him off, saying he didn't care as long as Min Jiangxi was happy. Qin Zhan continued, explaining that although his brother had invested in QC, he had never shortchanged him on dividends and had never interfered in his business dealings. If he insisted on meddling in this matter, he would return his brother's shares. Finally, Qin Zhan warned him to stay away from the people he cared about and left. Qin Zhan arrived downstairs at Min Jiangxi's apartment. He told Min Jiangxi that Feng Jingyan had hired someone to follow him. He guessed that Feng Jingyan had told him about his meeting with Jiang Dong today, and he confirmed it. He recounted his conversation with Jiang Dong. Jiang Dong had questioned him, asking why he wasn't choosing to protect himself, knowing he wouldn't get any answers from him. Min Jiangxi explained that Qin Zhan had been taking good care of him these past few months, and he felt obligated to help. Qin Zhan told him not to worry about his issues with Jiang Dong and to just focus on managing Qin Jiating. He informed Min Jiangxi that the new game skin was ready and that the investigation into the leak would continue simultaneously. Min Jiangxi was relieved that this would minimize the damage. Qin Zhan teased him about his obvious fear of losing his job, reassuring him that with Qin Jiating and Rong Hao supporting him, he wouldn't be unemployed. Hearing this, Min Jiangxi offered to treat them both to a meal. After their conversation, he went home. Qin Zhan's men brought the person who had been taking pictures. The man pleaded for mercy. Qin Zhan let him go, telling him to go back and inform his employer that whoever was following Min Jiangxi, the Qin family would cover their funeral expenses. That evening, Min Jiangxi received a message from Ding Ke. Ding Ke told him that Chu Jingxing was back and invited him to dinner. But considering recent events, Min Jiangxi thought it best to avoid any appearance of impropriety and declined. Although this was just ordinary business competition, he hoped Chu Jingxing would act with integrity. He couldn't understand why Chu Jingxing was unhappy that Qin Zhan had secured the approval for the Yecheng School project. He was also unhappy that Chu Jingxing's company's game had launched first. Would he only be satisfied if things were the other way around? He didn't understand why Qin Zhan had become the innocent victim, while Chu Jingxing was potentially condoning plagiarism. Just then, he received a call from Feng Jingyan. Feng Jingyan immediately accused him of trying to smear his name. Qin Zhan was already investigating him. He was convinced that Min Jiangxi had said something to Qin Zhan. Min Jiangxi explained that he had met with Qin Zhan that night because he had been followed recently. He told Feng Jingyan to reflect on his own actions. That jealousy taken too far was illegal. But Feng Jingyan remained unrepentant, issuing more threats before hanging up. The next day, Qin Jiating asked Min Jiangxi if he could go see Jiang Dong. Min Jiangxi advised him to focus on his studies, assuring him they had their own way of handling things. Min Jiangxi told him there wasn't much a miner could do. He explained that if he were to attack someone with a knife, thinking he was protecting himself or someone he cared about, proving he was grown up, in the end, the person he was trying to protect would be the one to bear the responsibility. He saw a flicker of his younger self, suppressing all his emotions, picking up his books, and doing what someone his age should do. Doing his best, patiently waiting to grow up. Qin Jiating noticed his tears and asked him why he was crying. Min Jiangxi told him not to rush growing up, that being an adult wasn't as great as he thought. Qin Jiating thought that being an adult meant he could protect the people he cared about, but Min Jiangxi told him that was only true if he successfully became a capable adult. At that moment, Qin Jian came out and told him that if he wanted to protect others, he had to have the strength to back it up. Qin Jiating went back to his studies. Min Jiangxi asked Qin Jian if there was any evidence pointing to him, since Feng Jingyan had called him. Qin Jian explained that the company was conducting an internal investigation and any suspicious activity would be reported. He said Feng Jingyan was overreacting. He promised to resolve the matter quickly and told Min Jiangxi to let him know if he needed anything. Min Jiangxi asked him to keep an eye on Feng Jingyun, worried he might do something rash. Qin Jian assured him he would protect him, that Feng Jingyun wouldn't dare try anything with him around. Seeing Qin Jian like this, Min Jiangxi realized something. He'd worked so hard to climb to such a high position, also to better protect those around him. Qin Jian called Feng Jingyan to his office. He told Feng Jingyan that his second cousin, Tang Qing, was the girlfriend of the lead game developer at his company. She had sent a USB drive to Dongxing Corporation. Afterward, Feng Jingyan had transferred 500,000 yuan to her. Immediately following that, Dongxing's game had been released first. Feng Jingyan tried to excuse himself, claiming Tang Qing's family was ill. Qin Jian stated that his people had intercepted Tang Qing at the airport. She had already confessed. Feng Jingyan immediately claimed he'd been framed. He was dissatisfied that Qin Jian trusted Min Jiangxi so implicitly. Qin Jian replied that his feelings for someone weren't up for debate. If he liked someone, nothing else mattered. If he didn't, nothing could change that. Feng Jingyan couldn't understand how his 3 years couldn't compare to Min Jiangxi's 3 months. Qin Jian said he simply couldn't compare to Min Jiangxi and told him not to come around anymore, and especially not to bother Min Jiangxi. Feng Jingyan yelled, claiming he knew Min Jiangxi was two-timing everyone and that Qin Jian was being fooled. To this, Qin Jian replied that he was happy to be fooled. In the end, he remained adamant that Min Jiangxi would eventually play Qin Jian for a fool. At the restaurant, Rong Yijin complained that Qin Jian wouldn't come out to dinner with him, but the moment Min Jiangxi was mentioned, he immediately asked where they were. Min Jiangxi brought Qin Jian a cake. Qin Jian told him that Feng Jingyan was behind everything and that he was worried things might get messy. He asked Min Jiangxi if he would mind having a few people follow him for protection. Min Jiangxi readily agreed. Rong Yijin mentioned that Rong Hao's grades had improved and that he was even cooking for himself every day. Rong Huilin was incredibly touched. Qin Jian chimed in, adding that Qin Jiating was always in the kitchen too, and if no one ate what he made, he'd give it to the dog. The dogs at home all avoided him now. Min Jiangxi told them that Qin Jiating was learning to make cupcakes, claiming a genius only needed to watch once to learn. Rong Yijin quickly said he took after Qin Jian. He brought up a story about them fishing as children. Qin Jian caught a fish he couldn't reel in, and Qin Jiating, refusing to believe it, ended up being pulled into the sea. He wouldn't even let go of the rod in the water. Qin Jian complained that he still ate plenty of the fish after it was caught. Rong Yijin said he was vengeful. After they caught it, he made the chef cut the fish into 8 pieces. Min Jiangxi, however, said he would have done the same. After putting in so much effort, letting it go would be frustrating. Qin Jian raised his hand and gave him a high five. He said not everyone loves flashy displays. Min Jiangxi told him he knew ocean fish was delicious, so he wouldn't be sentimental. At most, he'd add a few flower petals as a garnish. It was the romance of a full stomach. The two exchanged another knowing high five. Rong Yijin felt like a third wheel. That evening, Min Jiangxi returned home and received a malicious message from Feng Jingyan. Then Feng Jingyan called, indiscriminately blaming Min Jiangxi and trying to pin everything on him. Min Jiangxi said he'd rather Qin Jian believe his lies than admit his own failure. Feng Jingyan brought up Min Jiangxi's mother, yelling at him. Min Jiangxi immediately got up to go find him. He arrived at Yunshan Pavilion in the early morning hours. Upon seeing Feng Jingyun, he immediately slapped him across the face. Feng Jingyun tried to retaliate, but Min Jiangxi grabbed him. Min Jiangxi demanded an apology. Seeing no remorse, he slapped him again. Feng Jingyun called for his companion to help. Min Jiangxi promptly threw the man to the ground. Feng Jingyun still wouldn't give up. In the next moment, Chu Jingxing stepped in front of Min Jiangxi. Chu Jingxing declared that anyone who wanted to touch Min Jiangxi would have to go through him. Just then, Jiang Dong appeared. He calmed Chu Jingxing down, trying to end the confrontation. Feng Jingyun, however, demanded an apology from Min Jiangxi or that he admit the truth about his mother. Qin Zhan stepped out to reprimand him, but Jiang Dong shielded Feng Jingyun. He led Feng Jingyun away. Chu Jingxing went over to check on Min Jiangxi. Min Jiangxi thanked him. Chu Jingxing advised him to buy some medicine before leaving. He called Jiang Dong and asked if that performance was meant to spite Qin Zhan. Jiang Dong replied that he had only heard that the leak was related to Feng Jingyun. His actions ensured Feng Jingyun wouldn't be able to clear his name even if he jumped into the Yellow River. Chu Jingxing warned him not to drag Min Jiangxi into the mess. Qin Zhan hadn't expected Min Jiangxi to be out meeting someone in the middle of the night for a fight. Min Jiangxi said that his involvement in a group fight violated company regulations and he couldn't tutor Qin Jiating anymore. Before Qin Zhan could even speak, Min Jiangxi started delivering what sounded like a farewell speech. He explained that tonight's events were the result of careful consideration. He had to handle his own affairs. Qin Zhan remarked that it sounded like something a good student would say. Min Jiangxi retorted that it wasn't something a good student would do and that he was regressing. Qin Zhan, puzzled, asked what had caused this sudden change of heart. He confessed that he'd suddenly realized he wasn't the best fighter nor the worst student. He couldn't excel at anything. He'd assumed Qin Zhan would be disappointed. Instead, Qin Zhan told him he wasn't disappointed, but rather saw hope. He believed Min Jiangxi could change himself and in turn influence Qin Jiating and Rong Hao for the better. As Qin Zhan drove him back, Min Jiangxi continued to berate himself for setting a bad example. Qin Zhan told him that doing what one felt compelled to do wasn't necessarily right, but it wasn't necessarily entirely wrong either. Being passive and being a pushover were two different things. He also told Min Jiangxi not to worry about his reputation at QC. In the end, Qin Zhan didn't take him home. Instead, he took him to the hospital. He'd noticed Min Jiangxi's injured hand. The next day, Himani called Min Jiangxi to her office. There were numerous client complaints demanding severe disciplinary action. Min Jiangxi offered no defense and accepted the punishment. Just then, Qin Zhan arrived. He inquired about the disciplinary measures against Min Jiangxi. Himani tried to appease him, suggesting they find a new tutor. Qin Zhan, however, insisted that Min Jiangxi had done nothing wrong and he wouldn't replace him. He stated that his own child was benefiting greatly from Min Jiangxi's tutoring. Qin Zhan knew Min Jiangxi hadn't revealed the full story because he didn't want his background publicized. He told Imani that he had been present at the incident and could call everyone involved to testify. He took responsibility for the situation and instructed Himani to handle it accordingly. Min Jiangxi stepped forward, saying the matter needed the boss's approval. Himani quickly agreed, and Qin Zhan left. Ding Ke then called, telling him to act as if nothing had happened. Himani was displeased, demanding fairness. Ding Ke explained that he was relaying Chu Jingxing's wishes, leaving Himani speechless. That afternoon, Min Jiangxi went to the Qin residence. Qin Jiating already knew about the incident. Min Jiangxi told him not to follow his example. Qin Jiating, however, argued that there must have been a reason for the fight and that Min Jiangxi must have been acting on principle. He also told Min Jiangxi not to worry about his job at Qin Zhan's school. Min Jiangxi smiled gratefully. Meanwhile, at the company, Qin Zhan was divesting Feng Jingyun's brother of his shares. He also had someone deal with the Yunshan Pavilion security guards who had ignored the fight. Rong Huilin was reporting to him. It turned out Jiang Dong had framed Feng Jingyun for the game leak. Jiang Dong's second-in-command, Tang Qing, had already fled the country. Because of Qin Zhan, the Feng family was about to disown Feng Jingyan. Under pressure, Feng Jingyan withdrew his complaint against Min Jiangxi. Rong Huilin thought he was foolish. Arriving at the Qin residence, Min Jiangxi heard Qin Jiating wondering if Qin Zhan was sick. He was asking if they should call Uncle Chong when Qin Zhan's voice called out, asking if they'd changed his alarm. Qin Jiating, a little startled, told him Min Jiangxi was there. Min Jiangxi turned on the light and, seeing a shirtless Qin Zhan, immediately turned back around. Complaining of the heat, Qin Zhan threw back the covers. Seeing that he slept naked, Min Jiangxi, his face flushed crimson, spun around to call for Uncle Chong. Qin Jiating stopped him, saying it was pointless to call anyone. Qin Zhan hated taking medicine. With his back still turned, Min Jiangxi asked Qin Zhan where he felt unwell. Qin Zhan, realizing he was naked, pulled the covers back up and told Min Jiangxi to turn around. Min Jiangxi warned Qin Jiating not to get too close, in case he caught whatever Qin Zhan had. He then went to pour Qin Zhan some water. Min Jiangxi urged him to eat something, but Qin Zhan refused, telling him to go about his business. So he had to leave the room for now. Calling Qin Jiating into the kitchen, he instructed the boy on how to make ginger ale. Once finished, he crushed the medicine and mixed it in. He asked Qin Jiating why Qin Zhan disliked taking medicine. Qin Jiating replied that he himself had gotten better before without taking any. Min Jiangxi explained that at Qin Zhan's age, it wasn't so easy to recover naturally. The two carried the food to Qin Zhan's room. Qin Zhan asked if Min Jiangxi had left. Hearing that he had gone, Qin Zhan told Qin Jiating not to bother outsiders in the future. Min Jiangxi wasn't his girlfriend, after all. He turned to see Min Jiangxi standing there, holding a tray. Awkwardly, he explained that Qin Jiating had made the ginger ale and he was just helping bring it up. He placed the tray on the table and prepared to leave. Qin Jiating asked him where he was going. He said he had arranged to have dinner with Lu Yuqi. Qin Zhan then offered to have the driver take him home. After they finished eating, Qin Jiating kept praising Min Jiangxi's cooking skills. He picked up the ginger ale and said he had made it himself, urging Qin Zhan to drink it quickly. Qin Zhan took a sip and commented that it was a bit bitter. Qin Jiating then asked him what he thought of Min Jiangxi. He wondered if his father would like him. Qin Zhan promptly spat out the ginger ale he had just swallowed. He asked, puzzled, why Qin Jiating would ask such a thing. Qin Jiating explained that his father probably hadn't found a girlfriend abroad. He thought Min Jiangxi was very good, and if his father agreed, he would be happy for Min Jiangxi to be his stepmother. Qin Zhan told him he was getting ahead of himself. Qin Jiating continued, saying that Min Jiangxi was his tutor, and if his father liked him, perhaps his father would come home more often. Qin Zhan understood that he missed his father. Qin Jiating mentioned he had dreamt of him last night, and that his father had promised to return for his birthday this year. However, Qin Feng had just told Qin Zhan that he wouldn't be coming back this year. Unsure how to break the news to Qin Jiating, Qin Zhan asked him what gift he wanted, promising to buy him anything. As it turned out, all he wanted was to introduce Min Jiangxi to his father. Qin Zhan told him not to get his hopes up. Min Jiangxi might not be willing to be his stepmother. Qin Jiating quickly assured him he wouldn't cause a fuss. His father was handsome and rich. Qin Zhan, disgruntled, pointed out that by that logic, he was also handsome and rich, and Min Jiangxi was excellent in every way, so they would be a good match too. Qin Jiating asked if he liked Min Jiangxi, adding that he didn't think they were suited to each other. Qin Zhan questioned why they wouldn't be suitable. Qin Jiating explained that if they dated and broke up, Min Jiangxi wouldn't be able to come to the house anymore. If Min Jiangxi were with his father, it would be different. His father didn't come back often, and absence makes the heart grow fonder. Qin Zhan wondered if Min Jiangxi had drugged him. Qin Jiating said he simply saw Min Jiangxi as a good homemaker, and he had even brought a homemade cake. Qin Jiating declared that Qin Zhan wouldn't work. He was handsome and rich, but Min Jiangxi wasn't interested in him. Qin Zhan retorted that this proved his earlier point. Money and looks didn't guarantee someone's affection. Qin Jiating quickly countered that his father was better looking and more successful than Qin Zhan. Exasperated, Qin Zhan told him that physical appearance only provided initial attraction. Shared values were the key to a lasting relationship. Qin Jiating posed another profound question. Had Min Jiangxi rejected Qin Zhan for his looks or or his values. Having finished eating, he prepared to leave. As he left, he specifically reminded Qin Zhan to finish the ginger ale. Eating the cake, Qin Zhan considered Min Jiangxi's many admirable qualities. However, as the previous fight had shown, he wasn't meek and compliant. Beneath his smiling facade lay vigilance, and behind his mask of respect, a distinct detachment. He wondered what experiences had shaped Min Jiangxi into this person. Was his apparent perfection a form of adaptation or a disguise? He found himself growing curious about the true nature of Min Jiangxi. A call from an unknown number came through to Min Jiangxi's phone. The caller introduced himself as Feng Jingxian, Feng Jingyun's older brother. He was calling to invite Min Jiangxi to dinner as an apology for the unpleasantness between him and Feng Jingyun. Min Jiangxi replied that the matter was in the past and there was no need to assign blame. Feng Jingxian explained that Qin Zhan was reluctant to let them invite Min Jiangxi to dinner, which was why he had contacted him directly. Min Jiangxi realized that Qin Zhan was likely caught in a difficult position and, feeling sympathetic, agreed to the invitation. Having secured Min Jiangxi's agreement, Feng Jingxian called Qin Zhan. He informed him that Mr. Min had accepted the dinner invitation and asked if Qin Zhan wanted to attend the dinner himself to address the Feng Jingyun situation. Qin Zhan, however, declined the offer. He awkwardly explained that he would go alone. After hanging up, Feng Jingyun impatiently fished for information. Learning that Qin Zhan didn't want to see him, he flew into a rage, declaring that he didn't want to see them either. Feng Jingxian warned him not to stir up any more trouble, especially since they still had to discuss the divestment that evening. But Feng Jingyun clearly wasn't going to settle down. Instead, he called Jiang Dong, urging him to disrupt the meeting. He thought confidently Qin Zhan might be formidable, but Jiang Dong wasn't a pushover either. With his heavyweight present, Qin Zhan surely wouldn't be able to do anything to him. The day of the arranged dinner arrived quickly. Qin Zhan personally opened the door for Min Jiangxi, letting him in. The two exchanged pleasantries and showed concern for each other. At the dinner, Feng Jingxian tried to offer Qin Zhan a toast, but Min Jiangxi intercepted, explaining that it was best if Qin Zhan didn't drink any alcohol because the ginger ale he'd given him earlier had been drugged. Qin Zhan fell silent. Seeing this, Min Jiangxi quickly added that it had been Qin Jiating's idea. Qin Zhan then jokingly remarked that he would have to settle the score with him later. But his heart warmed. He hadn't expected Min Jiangxi to use such a childish way to appease him. Well then, it seems I'll have to stick to tea, Qin Zhan conceded. Witnessing their interaction, Feng Jingxian couldn't help but sigh. Teacher Min is truly as remarkable as the rumors suggest. No wonder he's captured Zhan's heart. In that case, allow me to offer you this toast instead. After exchanging a few polite words with Feng Jingxian, Min Jiangxi unhesitatingly drained his glass. Feng Jingxian apologized on behalf of his sister. He hoped Min Jiangxi could forgive her. Min Jiangxi replied that as long as she didn't cause any more trouble, he wouldn't pursue the matter further. Although he had forgiven Feng Jingyun, Qin Zhan's attitude remained less forgiving. Just as he was about to try persuading him further, someone suddenly barged in. It was Jiang Dong, here to cause trouble. Qin Zhan told him to get out while he still could. But Jiang Dong brazenly found a seat, accusing them of ganging up on Feng Jingyun. After taunting them, he casually admitted that he, Jiang Dong, was the instigator of everything. Feng Jingxian frantically told him to stop talking nonsense, but Jiang Dong remained indifferent, continuing to mock him relentlessly. It was at this moment that Feng Jingxian finally realized that Feng Jingyun truly was the culprit. After Jiang Dong had his say, Qin Zhan threw him out. Min Jiangxi watched the man's dramatic entrance and exit, unsure whether he had genuinely intended to protect Feng Jingyun or to deliberately sabotage Feng Jingxian. Feng Jingxian hastily apologized to Qin Zhan, claiming he had no prior knowledge of his sister's foolish actions. Qin Zhan declared the matter closed, warning him to keep his people away from his own in the future. After the dinner, Qin Zhan offered to drive Min Jiangxi home. Min Jiangxi declined, but Qin Zhan countered, saying he had no ulterior motives and that feelings wouldn't develop from a simple car ride. Being overly cautious would only make him look suspicious. Hearing this, Min Jiangxi relented and got into the car. During the drive, the two chatted casually. Qin brought up the fight, asking if Min Jiangxi often got into brawls. After receiving a negative answer, he mused about Min Jiangxi's well-rounded abilities, suggesting he could supervise the sparring coach for his two children. Although mostly in jest, the comment left Min Jiangxi speechless, wanting nothing more than for Qin to roll down the window, because he was starting to feel suffocated. Meanwhile, after returning home, Feng Jingxuan's first order of business was to berate Feng Jingyan. He scolded him for involving Jiang Dong, pointing out that if Qin decided to press charges for theft, he could face jail time. Feng Jingyan was bewildered. Why had he ever stolen anything from Qin? Upon learning that Jiang Dong had confessed, he frantically called Jiang Dong, but the call went unanswered. Feng Jingyan was devastated, convinced that Jiang Dong had colluded with Hang Xie Yi and framed him. Feng Jingxian called him an idiot for failing to recognize Qin's obvious affection for Min Jiangxi. He then recounted Qin's threats from the dinner. Thoroughly intimidated, Feng Jingyan decided to initiate procedures to leave the country the next day. The following day, at the swimming pool, the two Qin children called out to Min Jiangxi from the water, urging him to join them. When Min Jiangxi refused, they didn't give up. Instead, they pulled him into the pool. Min Jiangxi asked them to help him back to the edge, but the two boys stubbornly refused. Just then, Qin called. Seizing the opportunity, Min Jiangxi shouted, "Qin, help me!" Qin's face darkened. Not long after hanging up, his uncle called again. After a bit of a scolding, the two brats finally backed down and obediently left Min Jiangxi alone. After he got out of the pool, someone came in with a set of clothes, saying Mr. Qin had sent them. There was even a set of underwear included. Min Jiangxi was immediately struck by Qin's thoughtfulness. After changing, he thanked Qin, who had arrived in the meantime. Qin also warmed him a glass of milk and banished the two troublemakers to the open-air swimming pool on the first floor, saying he wanted to help Min Jiangxi vent his frustration. Touched, Min Jiangxi finished his milk, and the two agreed to play a game of tennis. During a break, two familiar faces appeared, Lu Yuqi and his senior. They were there to play tennis as well. Chu Jingxing, seeing their closeness, assumed there was something romantic between them. Lu Yuqi, however, denied any such connection. Meanwhile, Qin and Min Jiangxi were also discussing the pair. Qin believed Min Jiangxi must have a crush on Lu Yuqi. After receiving a denial, he pointedly declared that Min Jiangxi must like men, and he added Min Jiangxi was currently playing tennis with the very object of his affection. Faced with Min Jiangxi's flustered reaction, Qin calmly analyzed the situation. Min Jiangxi was generally indifferent to most things, yet he kept staring at Lu Yuqi, which meant Lu Yuqi must hold a special place in his heart. Min Jiangxi could only admit to admiring Lu Yuqi. However, Lu Yuqi's own infatuation was practically overflowing. This was a slap in the face for Qin. Just then, Qin Jiating and Rong Hao arrived. Rong had declared his intention to have dinner at Min Jiangxi's place as a reward for his improved grades. Min Jiangxi agreed and invited Qin Jiating along. Qin, however, told them not to bother Min Jiangxi. He offered to take them both out to dinner instead. Min Jiangxi countered that it was no trouble, as he had driven and could pick up groceries on the way. He accepted the boys' invitation. Qin, feeling abandoned, drove off alone, fuming. He had come all this way to play tennis with Min Jiangxi, and when it came to dinner, Min Jiangxi hadn't even bothered to ask him along. Now he felt like a third wheel. Min Jiangxi was also exasperated. He simply hadn't wanted Qin to have to help with the dishes. Seeing Qin's near breakneck speed as he drove off, Min Jiangxi felt a pang of worry. Qin Jiating, however, was secretly pleased. Someone was finally putting his prickly second uncle in his place. It was late by the time they returned home after dinner. Seeing Qin in the living room, Qin Jiating remarked that he should have invited him to dinner after all. Qin retorted that he was also just trying to get a free meal. It wasn't as if Min Jiangxi could just invite anyone he pleased. Qin Jiating insisted that Min Jiangxi had wanted him to come, but had worried he wouldn't have time. After hearing Min Jiangxi's actual, somewhat sarcastic words, Qin's heart sank. He concluded that Min Jiangxi had just been brushing Qin Jiating off. Thankfully, Qin Jiating had brought back some leftover cupcakes. Qin Jian ate them with a heavy heart. Meanwhile, Qin Jiating hatched a plan. Min Jiangxi was so wonderful. Instead of just hiring him as a chef, why not bring him into the family? He could arrange for Min Jiangxi to meet Qin Jiating's father at his birthday party next week. Perhaps Min Jiangxi could become the perfect stepmother. Qin Jian informed him that his father wouldn't be able to make it this year. Qin Jiating was immediately deflated. It was the same every year. Qin Jian consoled him, suggesting they invite Min Jiangxi to celebrate his birthday instead. Qin Jiating immediately called Min Jiangxi. However, Min Jiangxi explained that he already had plans with Chu Jingxing next Saturday. Because of the incident at the company, he couldn't cancel. He suggested they reschedule for Sunday. Understanding, Qin Jiating didn't complain. After hanging up, he simply went upstairs to read, feeling a little disappointed. His quiet dejection tugged at Qin Jian's heartstrings. Saturday evening arrived quickly, and Min Jiangxi went to his dinner appointment as planned. Jiang Dong mentioned that it was Chu Jingxing's birthday and asked if Min Jiangxi had brought a gift. Min Jiangxi was completely unaware. Apparently, Chu Jingxing had deliberately kept his secret, fearing Min Jiangxi would feel pressured and not come. It was too late to buy a present now. Min Jiangxi then took out a branch of gardenias, folded by his family, and offered it to him as a gift. Jiang Dong was quite disgruntled. How come he gets flowers for his birthday, and I get self-defense tools? I insist on a potted plant too. But Chu Jingxing stopped him. I have enough flowers already. What do I need more for? Chu Jingxing expressed his appreciation for the gift, which made Min Jiangxi blush. Chu Jingxing said he would take Min Jiangxi to rest first. Just then, one of his university classmates arrived. After introductions, the classmate took a liking to Min Jiangxi and pulled him into a toast. Chu Jingxing, concerned, said that Min Jiangxi could refuse if he didn't want to drink. Min Jiangxi, however, felt it was Chu Jingxing's birthday party and it wouldn't be right to spoil the fun. After a few rounds of drinks, Min Jiangxi saw Rong Hao's post on social media wishing a good friend a happy birthday. He then realized that it was also Qin Jiating's birthday. Meanwhile, in the Qin family dining room, a small group was quietly celebrating Qin Jiating's birthday. Rong Huilin, having learned that Min Jiangxi had gone to Chu Jingxing's birthday party, deliberately shared this news with everyone. Rong Yijing quietly asked Qin Jian why he hadn't told him it was Qin Jiating's birthday. Qin Jian explained that Jiating had asked him not to tell anyone. They chatted quietly for a bit, regretting Min Jiangxi's absence, but understanding the situation. Rong Huilin eagerly offered to cut the cake for Qin Jiating. She figured that since Min Jiangxi had given up on Jiating, he had essentially given up on Qin Jian as well. After the cake was cut, Qin Jian didn't take any. Instead, he took Qin Jiating to wash his face. Turning back, he saw Min Jiangxi in the outer room. Rong Hao gave him a thumbs up. Qin Jian stepped forward and took the bowl of longevity noodles from Min Jiangxi. He presented the bowl to Qin Jiating, saying he had made it himself. Jiating, however, immediately recognized Min Jiangxi's cooking. His mood instantly brightened, and he called for Min Jiangxi to come out. Their warm welcome towards Min Jiangxi irritated Rong Huilin. Min Jiangxi softly asked Qin Jiating why he hadn't mentioned it was his birthday. He explained that although he had to attend Chu Jingxing's party, he would have come over earlier. Watching Qin Jiating devour the noodles, Qin Jian smiled with satisfaction. Rong Yijing, observing this, remarked that he was playing favorites. He hadn't even acknowledged Rong Huilin when she left. Rong Yijing couldn't resist teasing him, but Qin Jian just told him to find something to do in the living room if he was bored. Qin Jiating announced that he was going back to his room to play games with Rong Hao. Suddenly, only the two of them were left in the dining room. Qin Jian asked Min Jiangxi if coming over had disrupted his previous plans. Min Jiangxi said it was no problem. It was something he should do. They chatted amiably until midnight. Seeing Min Jiangxi yawn, Qin Jian suggested he go upstairs to rest. Just then, Qin Jiating and Rong Hao emerged with a cake, wishing Min Jiangxi a happy birthday. It turned out that after midnight, it was November 20th, Min Jiangxi's birthday. He was completely surprised. He hadn't celebrated his birthday in so many years. He had almost forgotten when it was. They refilled their glasses, dimmed the lights, and restarted the celebration, toasting to Min Jiangxi's birthday. However, after just one drink, Min Jiangxi felt dizzy. He was puzzled, as he hadn't drunk much. He excused himself to the bathroom. He was gone for 20 minutes. Qin Zhan, sensing something was wrong, knocked on the door but received no answer. He carefully pushed the door open and found Min Jiangxi collapsed beside the bathtub. Qin Zhan quickly helped him up. Min Jiangxi, waking in a daze, clung to him. In his confused state, Min Jiangxi recognized Qin Zhan and then began to struggle. Qin Zhan realized something was terribly wrong. Min Jiangxi seemed to have been drugged. Min Jiangxi didn't want to go to the hospital. Qin Zhan had no choice but to put him in the bathtub filled with cold water. The cold water made him shiver uncontrollably. Seeing this, Qin Zhan knew this wouldn't do. He would have to take him to the hospital, after all. Just as he reached out to embrace him, Min Jiangxi slapped his hand away. Seeing such defensiveness, Qin Zhan felt a pang of disappointment. It seemed Min Jiangxi had never truly considered him an ally. He'd been so careful, so considerate, and for what? Qin Zhan grabbed the shower head and turned the cold spray onto Min Jiangxi. If he wouldn't go to the hospital, this was the only option. After a while, he turned off the water. Some drugs wore off quickly. He'd let him recover a little before continuing. They repeated this chilling cycle, the cold water shocking Min Jiangxi back to a semblance of awareness. His resistance was palpable. Qin Zhan sensed something was wrong. Did Min Jiangxi suspect him of drugging him? He could feign trust when lucid, but the moment he was vulnerable, his true feelings surfaced, painting Qin Zhan as the villain. He offered to help him to find an antidote. Min Jiangxi flatly refused, telling him to behave himself. Qin Zhan had no choice but to continue with the cold water. Finally, after an indeterminate amount of time, the drug began to wear off. Seeing him finally regaining clarity, Qin Zhan insisted that despite his reputation, he wouldn't stoop to such a low tactic. He asked Min Jiangxi if he wanted a shower. Even though they would shower separately, Min Jiangxi still refused. Qin Zhan was utterly at a loss. He had no other option but to have him change out of his wet clothes. He would take him home. At 3 a.m., in front of the villa, Min Jiangxi shivered uncontrollably in the cool night air. Looking at the yawning man before him, Qin Zhan felt a knot of unease in his stomach. Min Jiangxi woke up the next morning, his fever gone. Recalling the previous night's events, he felt a creeping sense of bewilderment. Just then, Qin Jiating called. His second uncle was sick, and he wouldn't be able to come over for dinner. Min Jiangxi asked after his uncle's health with genuine concern. Qin Jiating explained that a doctor had already come to the house to administer an injection and asked if Min Jiangxi could visit. Min Jiangxi politely declined, claiming he had plans for the afternoon. He knew Qin Zhan. A visit today would appear too eager, too ambiguous. Qin Jiating brought Qin Zhan some food, proudly proclaiming he'd made it himself. Qin Zhan was skeptical. Qin Jiating explained that Teacher Ming had guided him via video call. He loved Teacher Ming's cakes, but disliked the ones made at home. Qin Zhan retorted that he hadn't paid Teacher Ming to be bothered repeatedly. He was just there to earn a living. Qin Jiating assumed they'd had a fight. Qin Zhan denied the possibility, warning him not to mistake their professional relationship for something more. Qin Jiating, deflated, relayed that Teacher Ming had advised him not to use too much sugar or salt and to tell Qin Zhan to cut down on smoking. He couldn't believe Teacher Ming would bother with such details if he didn't genuinely care. Rong Yijing called. He discovered that Chu Jingxing was behind the incident. Qin Zhan called Min Jiangxi, relaying Rong Yijing's findings. He assured him that if the incident had happened on his side, he would have taken responsibility. He urged Min Jiangxi to think about who he'd encountered recently. Min Jiangxi expressed his trust in Qin Zhan's investigation and assured him he wouldn't pursue the matter further. Now that he knew Qin Zhan wasn't involved, his thoughts turned to Chu Jingxing. He was just considering how to approach the subject when Chu Jingxing called. Chu Jingxing immediately admitted responsibility, explaining that there had been a problem on his end. He'd already fired the culprit, Zhang Bo, and offered to take Min Jiangxi to dinner to explain further. Min Jiangxi declined, stating he trusted him. Guilt gnawed at Min Jiangxi. He'd wrongly accused Qin Zhan. He didn't know how to make amends. Qin Zhan was still coughing. Qin Jiating brought him a bottle of rock sugar and pear juice sent by Teacher Ming. He again cautioned Qin Zhan against bothering Teacher Ming and causing misunderstandings. Qin Zhan insisted Teacher Ming was a good person and told Qin Jiating to be nice to him. He suddenly remembered they hadn't gotten Teacher Ming a birthday present. Qin Jiating suggested getting him something he needed. He went to Xianxing and renewed 100 lessons each for himself and the Rong family with Himani. She informed him that Min Jiangxi wasn't feeling well and had taken the day off. He started to worry. Min Jiangxi couldn't even take care of himself, yet he'd gone to the trouble of making those drinks. Perhaps a gift certificate could serve as a birthday present. But right now, what Min Jiangxi needed was care. He arrived downstairs at Min Jiangxi's apartment building and saw him with Chu Jingxing. He was still all smiles. He threw away what he was holding and drove off. Min Jiangxi told him he didn't need to deliver the cake and that he wasn't upset with him. The other person apologized again. He called him. She informed him that Mr. Qin had personally renewed his lessons for another 200 sessions. This made him feel even more guilty for doubting him earlier. He said goodbye to Chu Jingxing and left. He went to the Qin residence to check on Qin Zhan and thank him for renewing the lessons, even asking him to retract the renewal. Qin Zhan thought he suspected him of having ulterior motives. He apologized again for misunderstanding him. He felt embarrassed to accept the lessons now. Qin Zhan explained that the lessons were a gift from Qin Jiating. He accepted the apology and asked him not to send any more gifts, as it could lead to misunderstandings. He also warned him not to re-gift things from other people. But Min Jiangxi had never intended to re-gift anything. He just wanted to apologize quickly. Rong Yijing arrived at the Qin residence and saw him. He mentioned that Qin Zhan had heard he was sick and specifically asked him what medicine to buy, even bringing it over to his apartment to check on him. He instantly understood. Qin Zhan had seen Chu Jingxing delivering the cake to him, which explained his reaction. He explained that he was there to thank Qin Zhan, but it seemed he had misunderstood something. Rong Yijing told him that Qin Zhan was a man of action, not words. This time, after he was drugged, Qin Zhan investigated and put pressure on Chu Jingxing. And back in Yicheng, he risked trouble with the Education Bureau to teach Zhang Yang a lesson. Min Jiangxi was shocked that he had confronted Zhang Yang. Rong Yijing continued, explaining that old Master Qin had even scolded Qin Zhan for it. He finally realized how much Qin Zhan had done for him, while he had completely misjudged him. He hadn't even dared to deliver the juice himself. He had misunderstood Qin Zhan, who had even initiated a reconciliation. The guilt weighed even heavier on his heart. Just then, Uncle Chang came over and asked him what he wanted for lunch. He went to help out in the kitchen. Qin Zhan saw that Min Jiangxi had prepared a whole table of dishes. Qin Zhan pointed out that he had a chef. Min Jiangxi explained that it was an apology dinner. Qin Zhan tasted a dish and told him it wasn't necessary. Min Jiangxi then clarified that he had indeed been sick yesterday, but it wasn't serious. He asked Qin Zhan if he was willing to let them get to know each other better. He raised his glass, welcoming the real Min Jiangxi into the Qin family. Min Jiangxi clinked glasses with him. Just then, Qin Jiating and the others came downstairs. The group chatted together happily.